Oh, wow. All right. Robert, Dan, thank you both for stopping by tonight. Sorry I couldn't make it on race night. Obviously, everybody knows the turmoil. Sorry, still trying to cool off. Oh, man. So, did I miss a lot of exciting racing action tonight? Hey, Robert. Hey, Dan. Thank you both again for stopping by. Here, I'm going to silence my phone so we don't hear a bunch of that. I go back and I critique my videos and see what I can try to improve on, or like right now, I got to get away from the camera because I know that annoying click, 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 click sounds. Someone mentioned in one of the videos, and I didn't even notice it. I thought they were referring to me wrapping the bubble wrap, but they were referring to the camera sounding like a roulette wheel going click, 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 click. So I apologize for that, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that we don't have that happen anymore. So we've got 4 people on and only 2 people commenting. So the other 2 people that are on, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Well, 3 lost 1. Hey, Tom, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to move this case back that we're not working on tonight. Is going to be, I would say, 99.9% Tyco. I did see a few of the stragglers from other manufacturers mixed in, but the very first case is going to be a winner chicken dinner for some of you, because I don't know that if you remember, but I mentioned that in the Tyco world, they rate their cars 0 to 5 as far as availability. 0 being the rare, unknown if it was even produced, the pre-production runs that had no assigned part number, that basically they didn't even know how many of those were produced. Sorry, my Mountain Dew keeps trying to bubble over. I accidentally let it sit in the freezer too long while I was getting ready. All right. Oh, hey, Ryburn. Sorry, buddy. I missed you there. A lot of chatting going on, and I was rambling. I apologize. So the 0 to 5s. And I mentioned I had a couple of the 0 cars. Well, in this very first case, we have a 0 car. And so you'll get to see what I was talking about, and that they refer to in the Tyco guide, as everybody knows is my Tyco Bible. So tonight, the first 2 rows are going to be pretty easy. These are from the 90 Stalkers, the T-Birds. And these I originally bought. You know, like I said, I'm not going to do the hand model thing. I'll just put them on the track. These I originally bought because I am going to put lights on, kind of like Dan did with his track around mine. And then this was going to be for my lighted series for the track, because all of these chassis are lighted. And then, there is a eBay vendor that sells different shades of these inserts, so that even with the lights off, you'd be able to kind of tell which car was yours going around the track, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's why I bought all these. There's the classic Cale Yarborough looking number 28 Hardee's. I'm not sure who actually drove that Thunderbird. I'm sure it wasn't Cale Yarborough, but that's who Hardee's reminds me of from back in the day. So this was obviously, these all came with like a HP7 chassis, and this one's got a 440X2 underneath it. So obviously it's not the right chassis for the car, but that's not what they were intended for. So, I was basically picking up used ones at a good price that I could turn right around and not worry about if they were crashed and destroyed, since they were going to be house cars. The next one here of the same type model year, these are all considered the 90 T-Birds is what they called them. This is the number 15 Motorcraft. There are 2 versions of this car, and the most desirable is the all red body. And the others, I don't know if it's going to, I'm going to look at my TV and see if it's going to show up without me getting very close to the camera. Yep, there you go. You can see where this one's painted. See how it's got white underneath there? The rare ones, this has the correct HP7 chassis, but the rare ones will be a molded in red body. So if you're into Tyco and you're into collecting these Thunderbirds, which is Motorcraft Thunderbird, looks pretty cool if you're a Ford guy, as obviously you guys know I am. That would be the one that you would want to collect for collectors. So obviously, like I said, I bought these to run. So even though it's excellent shape, it was bought to be a runner around the track. Any of you guys got any of these? No, I'm not a fan of the HP7 chassis either, Dan. I'm with you right there, Slot Valley. That's why the beauty of Tyco is being able to swap out those old crappy chassis that you may not like the HP2 and the Pros and obviously the HP7, and then just popping in like you saw, popping in a 440X2 and then going to town. So eliminate the bad body part of it, and you got a kick-ass looking car, or the chassis, I mean. This one, I believe. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, you agree. Yeah, I knew you would, man. You're all about the racing like I am, so the faster the better. This one, I believe, is the Kyle Petty version of the number 21 Sitco Thunderbird that he drove back in the day. Once again, it's on the correct chassis. Not going to be used in my class. I'm going to change all those over to 440X2 chassis and then put LEDs in there so they don't melt like the auto worlds do. So, you know, that's a good looking car. Like I said, I'm a Ford guy, and so seeing these Thunderbirds. And what's weird about these, and I'm going to show this real quick before we move on, these older Thunderbirds are huge in comparison to the newer models. Here, I'm going to put them on the track side by side so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See that? This 90s model Thunderbird is what they're calling it, is way bigger than the Thunderbird Super Coupe. I mean, look at that. I mean, just physically huge in comparison. So they, what I've learned with all these HO slot car manufacturers, they all play with the HO scale per se. So, you know, it could go anywhere from 164th to 187th. You just never know. But I just thought I'd like to point that out because those cars are significantly bigger than their brethren. And so on a narrower slotted track like a AFX, you know, that could become an issue on tight corners if your ass ends swinging around. Here's the number 59 Goodyear version of that car. You'll see I've got a couple of versions of a lot of these cars because, like I said, I bought them as runners. You know, not kind of plain Jane looking. You know, they still got some of the NASCAR, you know, advertisers. You know, Union 76 and Champion spark plugs and stuff like that. But they're more or less what I would call your base model. Once again, HP7. And I say base model as far as like NASCAR cars go. At least they didn't put some made up name on it. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dan. Love the 440X2. It rivals the Super G Plus in my opinion. If I could spit it out right and roll up the plastic at the same time. And if I have a duplicate of the car that I've already gone over, like I can see another Hardee's, I'm not going to go back over it again. I mean, there's no sense in doing that. That's how I'll speed up and go through this one. And then obviously you see we got a couple of the double 88s there. I believe this was the old Alan Kowicki number 711 Thunderbird. You can see some of the tampos kind of worn off there. I mean, I don't know how it's going to come out with that lighten it out real bad, but you know, Chief Auto Parts. I don't even know if there's a Chief Auto Parts in business anymore. Right there on the deck lid. Here, I'll turn it around so maybe if it does show up, you can see that there. You know, very few sponsors, STP, you know, Goodyear, you know, like I said, plain Jane stalkers, but didn't buy them for looks, bought them to run. Yeah, whenever we get to the runners for the house, Dan, if you're able to stay on that long, you'll love to hear some of the hop-ups on some of those cars. And here's the Union 76, the gas company. Like I said, two versions of this one there. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And like I said, I buy a double a lot of these, you know, that way if one gets damaged or if one flies off the track and loses a spring somehow or something happens, at least you can just throw another car right on the track and be ready to go. And like I said, the old Union 76, the old Ball 76. Once again, HP7 chassis. Not a big fan of them. You'd think with that big old long magnet on the back side that they would really grip the track, but that must be one of the weakest big long batteries or magnets that I've ever seen, if I can spit it out. Because it doesn't even act like there's a magnet there. I think it's more like a weight. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up these two, and then we'll get into a little Days of Thunder. Take a minute out there. Well, This one's a new old stock that makes any difference. So obviously the other one's going to get ran first, but I flipped that over to wrap it, and I saw that the shoes and everything were all nice and shiny and brand new. And yeah, here's another new old stock version. Like I said, didn't buy them to collect, bought them to race. These are going to be racers, but ran out of room in the house cars racers case, so stuff got overflowed. So here we go. We got this on a barely used 440 X2 chassis. This is the Cold Trickle Lumina from Days of Thunder, the City Chevrolet. And if a lot of you didn't know, I'm sure that you do, but in case you didn't, the movie Days of Thunder was based on car owner Rick Hendrick and his driver Tim Richmond. And Tim Richmond regrettably passed away due to AIDS because he was a party boy. And back in that mid to late 80s, there was that nasty new disease that nobody knew anything about called AIDS, and regrettably he caught it and it killed him. This is a really cool car. If you can get a hold of these, you see how low the balance sits to the track. So once again, it's going to be one of those that's going to eventually, if you're going to make it a runner, it's going to run grooves in it right there. But these days of the Thunder Luminas, they go for some pretty good money. So trying to find one in decent shape at a decent price is getting harder and harder to do. So I was fortunate to grab that one when I did. I'm going to stick that piece of track up there so my little bubble wraps don't blow away while I'm rolling up. And here's something we don't see every day, especially if you're a NASCAR fan. The old Oldsmobile. Oh, yeah, if you can see, we're on the 440 chassis, but the tires are really old, so I'll have to hold it up. I love these older stock cars, AFX and Aurora and Tyco. And like I said, this just reminds me of my youth, being able to watch real cars go around the track. And believe me, man, that thing's a boat in real life, and it was a boat on the racetrack. Pretty cool car. Not the right chassis, but it's got a, like I said, a 440. Well, no, it does have the right chassis. Sorry, 440. I thought it had an X2 underneath it. That'd make it wrong. And then here's the King with his Dodge Charger, and this came HP7 chassis. It came from his twin pack. I'd bought one of those open, so I just went ahead and took the cars out of it, and I put the one that was sealed on the wall. Like everybody knows that watches my channel, that has seen any of my videos, I love these Superbirds and this Charger, this wing and that slope nose. And once again, you'll notice that the body, they did it perfect. I mean, they got these things riding low and authentic. Yes, I really wish that Auto World would learn how to mount their bodies like this. If they did that, man, they would sell a lot more cars, even if they do have to get worked on a lot. Oh yeah, I've seen your review on that too. Yeah, the King, you can't beat him. This was back in the day, 426, Timmy. The guy that I used to stock car race before I got out of it, long story short, and I'll just skip to the end. A buddy of mine that I've mentioned that some of you may not have heard of, he is the one of the head fabricators for Junior Motorsports, Dale Jr. And so he gets a lot of the inside info. And I don't know if a lot of you know this about Mr. Petty, but his brothers, a couple of them, used to build his motors, and apparently they were some cheating fools. Just long story short. So that's why the King became the King, but it's only cheating if you get caught. That's the rule in NASCAR. HP7 chassis, brand new old stock, same old 90 Thunderbird. Won't spend any time on this one. I'll just wrap it up. So there's a little, oh, thank you, Dan. Little background on some of the Richard Petty wins. So, like I said, I don't hold it against him. Like I said, it's not cheating unless you get caught. That's just the rules of racing. And if you think that playing by the book is the only way to play, then those are the guys that are running in the back of the pack every week. Here we have the Johnny Benson Pontiac Grand Prix number 10 Valvoline car. Good looking car. I have actually one of these for sale on eBay, new sealed in the package, if anybody's interested. This is a new old stock with a 440 X2 chassis. Like I said, I've already got several of them, but I just like the way that car looks. That's just a slick looking car with the white wheels and everything. So yeah, thank you, Dan, for putting that in there. And now that while I'm wrapping this one up, once again, I know Dan's on the channel. I've already mentioned it once, and I'm going to keep mentioning it throughout the night because people bounce in and out. And that is, he's got his 1 year anniversary coming up this Saturday. So when we're all done here, or if you're done watching YouTube for the night, watching Scott, then just quickly go over to Dan's channel, Slot Valley Racing, and then watch his latest video on the Auto World Snake and Mongoose drag set. And then when that video is over, look at his upcoming live feed for his 1 year anniversary for this Saturday. And let's see how many people we can get on that live feed for him to show our support for his great work. So once again, Dan, keep up the good work and congratulations. This one, I'm a Mark Martin fan. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep these quick, but when there's stories that I think that are kind of cool, I'm going to spit them out there. Sorry if they bore some people, but just to date myself again, once again, I live in Springfield, Missouri. Mark Martin is from Arkansas. I actually, back in the day, the racetrack's actually closed now. And yeah, rock on, man. And it was called the Ozark Fairgrounds. It was a half-mile bank track. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, Ryburn. Like I said, I'll be moving, but I'm going to have the phone just in case I can't be in front of the TV or the computer, so I can at least chime in and say hello and stuff. But anyway, I was at the Ozark Fairgrounds in Springfield, Missouri, when Mark Martin came up from Arkansas for the first time and ran his first asphalt race. And he wasn't even old enough to drive a car on the street. He was only 15 years old. And I can remember being a young guy and seeing someone just a few years older than me out there racing a car with people older than my dad or my dad's age or older. And I would have been a Mark Martin fan ever since. Now, he's kind of a quirky man if you've ever met him. But like I said, I've just been loyal to him. And Rusty Wallace used to come down here. The Wallace brothers used to race. Rusty, Mike, and Kenny. All three of them used to come down here and race too, as well as a guy named Dick Trickle, which is the reason why they named Tom Cruise Cole Trickle in the movie Days of Thunder, is because Dick Trickle was actually driving the car around the track for most of those scenes that had the real cars going around the track. So they wanted the announcer, so they would just sub in the Cole part, or they would just have the announcer actually saying Dick Trickle's name and just cut out the Dick, and they go, "Oh, Trickle's making a move." If you watch the movie, you'll hear it a lot. And the reason is because that was authentic NASCAR calling, but it was for Dick Trickle, not Cole Trickle. So little background stuff. Like I said, when you have insights to little history on things on NASCAR and stuff, it's nice to share that. Oh, cool. So you're a Mark Martin fan too? Cool. Yeah. I wasn't too happy with him when he retired and came back and decided to go to Hendrick, but it is what it is. You know, you can't turn down money. Now, Terry Labonte in the number 5 Monte Carlo, Kellogg's. I'm sure we've all seen this. Like I said, I won't tell any Scott stories about this one, but I will tell you, if you are a collector, there are 2 variants of this car, and this would be the most expensive variant. And so this one is not the least expensive variant, and that's because it has the most sponsorship stickers. The one that you're looking for, if you're a collector, is what they call the Cost Savers car, and it does not have any of the Starburst or some of the major sponsors as far as the side here on for NASCAR. So if you're looking for the more collectible Terry Labonte number 5 Monte Carlo, it will not have Starburst on the trunk lid. And just a fun little fact before we get over there to the Cars and Crews, they made 2 different Cars and Crews, one with the Starburst and one as the Cost Saver. So If you're a collector, you want to get both of them, or if you're just able to get one, you're going to get the one without the starburst. So. Yeah. Kind of like Jack, a lot of those G Plus cars the other night, it was like a car show for him from his collection. I was like, yeah, well, good taste. Everybody's got good taste. And I'm like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. This is your standard urban Monte Carlo Kodak Max. This is like the one that comes in the with the racing rig, except that's the Lumina version, and this is the Monte Carlo version. Still slick looking car. Mattel and Tyco and everybody had the licensing, so they didn't care about actually making the license agreement with NASCAR and making the cars authentic. Yours is the starburst. Okay, so Dan, you'll want to look for the one with no starburst on it, and that will be the collectible one. All right, here's one that gets kind of pricey. This is the Ted Musgrave Taurus Prime Star. If you guys have ever seen this one on eBay, you know it usually brings a premium price. $50 or more is what I've been seeing. It's a good looking car. I get it. I get it, most definitely. And new old stock, just out of the package. Here, got another stack of foam here, bubble wrap. So, Ted Musgrave. So I guess this whole row is right here is what you would consider expensive. And out of all the cars you'd consider on this row, this one would probably be the least expensive car on this row. And the next one is going to be highly expensive if you've tried to price these things on eBay. They sell routinely from anywhere from $80. I've seen some people pay $120 for them. And if you remember, this is the one that is from my tech tip on how to use oven cleaner correctly to clean off old paint, certain old paints off of plastic bodies without ruining your tampo or taking off the paint. So this was a really good find. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, you've seen what I'm talking about, Dan. Slot Valley, that's a pricey car. This Dale Jr. car, and this also goes back to last night when I mentioned that when I was showing off some of those Marlboro F1 cars and how nowadays you're just never going to see a cigarette or a beer manufacturer actually listed as the sponsorship. And here you go. This is what I was talking about. We all know he was sponsored by Budweiser, but it says Dale. And then Earnhardt Jr. instead of Budweiser, and Earnhardt Jr. on the back here. I don't hear it clicking, so I'll get it closer. That's a good looking car. This is a set only car from the Hot Wheels 500. And I don't have the sister Michael Waltrip car for that particular set. But I do have the Napa 500 set, which is another version of that Dale car that we just looked at here. And I do have the Michael Waltrip version. Now, I did buy this set. You can see these are the original bags the cars came in. It was already open, so I have no problem about pulling this out and showing you guys. Before I put it on the track, you can see it's very lightly used. But still used nonetheless, but it's still cool to have the original baggie, so that's why I stuck it in the case that way. But this is one of the two versions of this car. The other version comes with that other Dale Jr. Napa Chevrolet Monte Carlo. This is when he drove for DEI, Junior's daddy's company, before it got dissolved up because of the family squabble. That's a good looking car. These are hard to get too. And they kind of took a dip in price there for a while. Yeah, I thought so too, Dan. Yeah, I like that car. I've been trying like hell to get one, but then, like I said, I draw a line in the sand, and when that price crosses that line, then I just stop. And fortunate for me, I was able to buy a set, and it had the cars with it. So winner, chicken dinner. I got the Napa 500 race set, and I got the cars that went with it. So, and they were in great shape, obviously. And then the next version of the Dale, here we'll get them out of order because, like I said, the bubble wrap doesn't always want to cooperate. We'll get him out. You can see, I'll show the shoes. Very little use on this one. And once again, this came from the Napa 500 is the race set for this one. Another Dale Jr. car. And on this one, they changed it up. And you can see there, Junior. Good looking car. And on the side, it says Earnhardt Jr. again, just like the other one. But it's got the scallops on it. Little different car, like I said. Once again, very expensive on eBay. I was fortunate enough to get it with the set, so I've got the set and the cars, got it all in one. I got them all for less than what you'd pay for this Dale Jr. car by itself on eBay. So that was one of those Scott finds that you're just thankful for. Someone didn't know what they had, and it was a buy it now, and I grabbed it. So there's probably a very expensive row of the Tyco cars, of the stock cars anyway, and some from the Mattel Hot Wheels years. Those are the Mattel Hot Wheels years there. Here's one out of the package, the Ward Burton number 22 Pontiac Caterpillar car. If you remember the other night, I got one of those in. It looked what Scott's got, and I kind of gave the history on the Dodge Intrepid. Number 22 was the first version of this car, and it's one of only, I looked it up, it's one of only 2 Dodge Intrepids that Tyco produced, and I have them both. And then the second car that they came out with the Caterpillar was the Pontiac number 22 that you see there with Ward Burton. And then the set that I got the other night, the Sight and Sound that I just showed off that had the number 96, that was Jeff Green. So in the order I just listed them is in the order of collectability. The first one would be the Dodge Intrepid. The second one would be this Pontiac Grand Prix. And then the third and final one would be the Monte Carlo number 96. I don't know about you guys, but I just love the way they did this body. I mean, that is just a sleek. I love that Pontiac body on that car. That's just sleek to me. I mean, I like it. Try to get it close without it clicking on us. And that I'm putting the cars right in the middle, trying to put them in the middle of that curve so we can kind of get an accurate representation of actually how low it sits right there in the bank. So you're not going to have to worry about the front end balance, scraping the front of the corner, going through a bank corner. And speak of the devil, if you couldn't already see, unless I was in the way, the very next car in line is said Dodge Intrepid number 22. This is the rare one. This is what makes this one rare is it's a set only car. They did not release this as an individual. Buy it in the blister card pack. Like I said, it's just really cool to have a couple of the only, well, to have the only 2 Dodge Intrepids that Tyco made, because they only made them for a very short time. Good looking car. Good looking car. It's used, very little use, but you couldn't tell it by looking on the outside. And you've noticed a lot of my cars are all nice and shiny and pretty, and that's because I take the Novus to them all, and they all get rubbed down at least once every month and a half. Now they're just getting wrapped up, so they won't get it, but that's why they all say look that shiny. And I strongly suggest, again, guys, that Novus is some good stuff. And we showed off Terry Labonte. Well, this is his younger brother, Bobby, in the Interstates number 18 Monte Carlo. Good looking car. The Labonte brothers, kind of soft spoken from Texas. Gentlemen drivers. I'll never forget Dale Earnhardt Sr. wrecking Terry Labonte at Bristol on the last corner of the last lap, and Terry crossed the finish line first, wrecking. That was awesome. But pretty cool car. Joe Gibbs Racing, before they were the powerhouse that they are now, and obviously before they went to Toyota. Here we have another stock car. This would be the Matt Kenseth number 17 DeWalt Ford Taurus. Another one of the pricier Tyco stock cars, harder to find. Cost you a pretty penny if you're going to find it brand new. And I've seen them go on the bubble wrap for 60, 80 bucks, loose 50 to 60. So people, they're still popular. Matt Kenseth's still a pretty popular guy. I remember when he got his first start in substitute, I think it was of Bill Elliott up in New Hampshire. Did really well. Like I said, I'm a racing fan, guys. So just looking at some of these cars and some of the drivers that are no longer driving and trying to remember their histories, kind of cool all by itself. Oh, hey, well, look what Scott forgot to do. Got to put Medeo back in his package. No bueno. So we've ripped through the first 24. Look, something popped up on my computer. Let me get rid of it so I can see the chat. Thank you, Ryburn. Appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'd be doing the same thing, except nobody be interacting, and I'd be talking to myself. So thank you all 7 of you that have stopped in tonight to take a look at the collection. And in case you're wondering, this is case 4 of 16 that we're packing up. So that's why I've kind of picked up the pace a little bit and skipping over some cars that I've already talked about and moving on. There we go. Here, get it kind of front and center where you can see. We'll start with another rare car. And this would be the Cheerios John Andretti Pontiac Grand Prix number 43. This is a harder one to try to get. I love that petty blue. That's just awesome. I love the way they put the blue wheels or rims on the car. Like I said, just a sweet looking ride. Cheerios on the hood, Hamburger Helper on the trunk, Betty Crocker on the corners. Really good looking car. Well, while that one's there, I might as well show you another rare one. And this is the other only Dodge Intrepid. So I'll put them next to each other so you can actually get a visual. So there you go. This one's the Dodge. This is the Pontiac Grand Prix. This is the super rare, hard to find, set only that went with the other Dodge. And you can see the shades of yellow a little different on the Cheerios. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera. I'm looking at my TV and that light's kind of making them blend. But suffice to say, this yellow right here with the Pontiac is more of a mustard yellow than the like a lemon yellow on this one. And you can see there's some differences in the back, the checks, and then of course, the different rear ends and deck lids because of the 2 different manufacturers. Like I said, it's just pretty cool to see a couple of the same cars, but from different manufacturers with the same primary sponsors and livery. For the most part, I mean, we got Betty Crocker here and nothing there. We got Checks over here and Hamburger Helper over here, but you get the gist. Pretty cool. So if you're a collector, both of them. And if you can only afford one, get the Intrepid. That's just my opinion, and that's what the Tyco Bible says. So the people that wrote that are way smarter than me. So I just go off what they say. Have any of you guys ever seen either one of those Dodge? Anybody out there? All 8 of us or 7? We just lost somebody. Like I said, I understand people bop in and bop out. Has anybody else out there seen either one of those Dodge Intrepids before, or have one, or have any? I'll keep getting stuff ready while I'm waiting for people. If you're like me, I can't type for crap, and sometimes I'm on my phone, so I'm sitting there pecking. I'm not like those people that can do this with their text. If I did this, you'd never be able to read what I said. And here we have another Pontiac Grand Prix. This is the M&M's variety. And this is Elliott Sadler. This is not Kyle Busch. So we don't have to hate him or hate this car. I love this car. It's a good looking car. This gets pretty pricey on eBay too. Never seen one until now. Cool. Well, see, thank you, Ryburn, for sharing that, because that was why I did that, because until I had actually purchased those, the only way I'd seen those is in my book. And it was like I mentioned, this is why I'm doing this. It's not to show off, to say, hey, look what I got. It's to share what I have, see what, maybe show something that other people haven't seen, maybe give you some fact about some car that you didn't know about, and then to find out if somebody else knows some facts or they have a version of that car, or to tell the story. So that's cool. Thank you for letting me know. Like I said, I love the yellow. It's easy to point out. In fact, we're going to get to the case with the runners for the house track, and this is one of them. There's a reason for that. So like I said, I like that car, and it doesn't have anything to do with Kyle Busch, so it's even better. Which, if rumor has it, he's going to be going to RCR. He's going to be going to Richard Childress Racing, my understanding. Well, then we'll have to spend a lot of time on this one. We already know who this guy is. Mr. Jeffy Gordon. This is his the Monte Carlo version of his car. Rainbow Warriors. I used to hate this guy. And ironically, though, when I drove stock car, that was my stock car number. Little known fact, and I'll start wrapping this up while I'm doing it, because we've all seen Jeffy's car before. You know, this one isn't that rare. There are some alternate versions of this one, and there are some cost cutter versions of this car, but you know. So Jeffy was actually handpicked by Ford to go from, I don't know if you guys remember Speed TV back in the day, but they used to have a show called, and on ESPN, Thursday Night Thunder with Dave Despang. And Jeff Gordon ran at his midgets at a lot of the tracks that they were doing those on. Caught Ford's eye. They went to Bill Davis Racing and said, we want to build a team for the Busch Series at the time, which is now the Infinity Series. We want to build a team for this guy that's running midgets named Jeff Gordon, and we want you to be the car owner for that team. So Bill Davis Racing got hired by Ford. Ford contracted Jeff Gordon, locked him into a contract. He drove the number 1 Baby Ruth car, and that was for Bill Davis Racing, all for Ford. He started doing really good, and Rick Hendrick went up to him and asked him if he was under contract, and he said, yeah, I'm under contract with Ford. You know, they've been really good to me. And he goes, no. He goes, I understand you're under contract for the Busch Series, but are you under contract for the, at the time, Winston Cup Series? And Jeff said, well, no. And he goes, well, how would you like to drive Winston Cup next year? And slid him a contract. That's how Jeff Gordon ended up with Hendrick Motorsports, and the rest is history. He literally turned his back on Ford without even giving him a chance to counteroffer, and signed with Rick Hendrick. So that's why I despise Jeffy. So we're going to go to a guy I like, and we're going to go to Bill Elliott. And this was the car that I mistakenly said that was in my set the other night that had the drive-through. That was one of the this one you can buy individually out of the bubble wrap, so I apologize. There's only 2 McDonald's cars, and this is one of the 2. And the other one is the drive-through version, which we'll see a little bit later, because I have it as a runner too for the house. So you just never know what you're going to get whenever you come to watch me pack my cars. You're going to get little stories, maybe crush some dreams for people that thought that Jeffy was an all right guy. Nope. He's like a lot of people. Show me the money. And honestly, I think that's the reason with that's the problem with college and pro sports now. It's not about the love of the sport. It's about the love of the money. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but once again, we got 2 different versions of this car, and I do need to point them out because one is highly collectible, and I mean highly, and the other one, not so much. So you can see here we have 2 versions of the Kyle Petty Hot Wheels Pontiac Grand Prix. You'll also see, even in the camera with it getting whited out, this is a dark blue, and this is that metallic aqua kind of blue. This one is a dime a dozen. In fact, like I said, I've got a new old stock one on eBay right now for 25 bucks, because that's how, I mean, brand new, $25. You just can't get nothing out of them. There's so many of them out there. But if you are a collector, here's your winner chicken dinner. This one is a limited production that only came in the Hot Wheels Electric Racing Cars and Crew. This one is, like I said, a different colored blue. And the easy way, if you're just perusing the show, this one comes with red wheels, red rims. This one comes with blue. And if you're looking real quick, just flipping through eBay and you think it's just another version of this, look for the Red Lobster here in the back. If you see the Red Lobster advertising, then it's the rare one. You want to try to get this car if you're a collector. This one, you could probably pick up 10 years from now for probably the same $25. This one, not so much. A lot of people don't know what they have when they have this car, but this is the more desirable car because they did not make that many of them. And obviously the colors changed, the tempo changed. I'll slide it up a little bit. Even the Hot Wheels track changed colors. See that? Oh, don't know if it's clicking. I'll back it up. So, a couple of good-looking Pontiac NASCARs for Kyle Petty. This is the one you want to buy a collector. This is the one you want to race and tear the hell out of because, well, you can buy it and replace it and not even worry about it. So, we'll get both of these wrapped up, and then we'll go to another John Andretti car, and this is one that's a little more commonly seen, and it's the STP, what they call scallops car. And I've got one of those cars and crews for sale. It'll be going on eBay. And we've all seen this car, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it either. There's not a lot that's really special about it. You can get it as a car and crew. You can get it individually. It's kind of like that number 44. But once again, it's on the Pontiac Grand Prix chassis. It's easy to see going around the track. With those vibrant colors. Like I said, I just love the Petty blue and, the 43. It's a good looking car. Got the blue rims on it. Brand new. But once again, it's not as common as the Kyle Petty 44, but you can still find these. It's not that hard to find them. It's not like the Prime Star, that DeWalt that we looked at earlier, and definitely not like those Cheerios or the M&Ms. And then I already showed you guys the Mark Martin Super Coupe, but I'll just kind of put it on the track there, swing it around. You can tell we've entered a different era of when they made their stock cars because, like I said, this one's smaller, and then they started going bigger again, but they didn't go as big as they did with the 90 T-Birds, so they kind of split the difference. Kind of weird. So this would be the baby version, those would be the big versions, and these would be the mediums, I guess, if you want to look at it, small, medium, and large. Once again, Mark Martin, one of my favorites. Like I said, getting to see him race. I've got a picture of him and Rusty Wallace in the program when they both raced together down here at the Fairgrounds Speedway. And Rusty Wallace, that was back in the 70s, so you got to remember that was when the perms were really big. Hey, Joe, thank you for stopping by, money. And he had a big old fluffy red perm on his head. Interesting thing about Rusty Wallace and all of his brothers is Rusty was the oldest. And whenever he moved up and went ARCA racing, he sold his car to his younger brother. Mike, and then Rusty, and then Kenny. Anyway, Rusty was a lot better driver than Mike, and he made more money, and he had him a custom engine built. It was a cheater motor. Long story short, and that's how Rusty used to dominate the Midwest, was with a cheater motor. Those of you that don't know, NASCAR engines are limited to 358 cubic inches and 11-to-1 compression. He had a special motor built where the first 2 cylinders on the motor and the back 2 cylinders on the motor would do what they call pump out to equal the 358 cubic inches. The 4 in the middle were a bigger and a different rod stroke, and he had custom headers made that wouldn't allow them to put the tool in there to pump those cylinders. And so they'd always pump one of those other four, and it always came out legal, when in reality, the four in the middle were bigger bore, bigger stroke, more compression. And I know that because somebody ended up buying the motor that I know. So pretty interesting. Here we had the Jeff Burton before he went to Childress and bounced around. Number 99 Superguard Sitco Ford Taurus. ASA days. Yes, Clint, there you go. See, I knew somebody'd remember it if they were a stock car fan, what I was talking about. So if there's a theme here that you've not gathered already, and that is that if you're going to win in NASCAR, you better cheat. That's just bottom line. If you're going to win in NASCAR, you better cheat. Because if you don't, the guy that won probably did. Sad but true. That's just the way it is. I said, I don't hate anybody that cheats. It's not cheating unless you get caught. And here's another Ward Burton. This one's a little harder to find. It gets a little pricier on eBay. This is the Xide batteries, or Xide, however you want to pronounce it, batteries. Get my bubble wrap over here. Put my battery on it. I like this one. Just like I said, it's got the lightning on it. As I don't know if it's going to show up. Yeah, it's showing up a little bit on the TV. Good looking car. I like it. Good looking car. Ford Taurus. This bad boy up. All right. Well, I was trying to get one of them done at least in an hour, and I started around 7:15, and we're at 8:03, so I'm close. And if it I said I was going to try to cut it off at 9 o'clock. I've got to get these 3 packed tonight. So I'm going to keep going, whether or not you guys stay here or not. So if you guys have to blink out at any time or after 9 or whatever, I completely understand. I understand everybody's got to work, but I still have to get these done. And I don't want to deprive everybody of being able to see the other cases just because they can't stay up late. So here's the third and least desirable, least collectible. It's kind of like the Kyle Petty number 44, so I won't spend much time on it. Number 96 Chevy Monte Carlo from Caterpillar. This one was driven by Jeff Green. And so now I've got a couple of versions of this one, and I got more than a couple. I've got like 3 versions of this car now after I got that race set. Nothing special about those 96 Monte Carlos. All right, well, we're getting to the row that's pretty cool. This one is based on those Thunderbird Super Coupes. This is the Tyco Goodyear Red is what this one's called. This is a new old stock, brand new on an HP7 lighted chassis. It does light up. It does run, obviously. This is a set car that they didn't apply a number to. So this one has no part number. It's just red Goodyear. And as you can see there, we're getting ready to go to the black Tyco, and this was the other set car. Once again, lighted HP7 chassis, runner. This is just like I said, the lighted Tyco. Now, there is a variant of this car, and it's called the cost cutter car. I don't know why they want to cost cut their own car, but it doesn't have Tyco on the deck lid, and it doesn't have Goodyear. I can understand the Goodyear, but I can't understand the Tyco on the deck lid. So if you see one with nothing on the deck lid and no Goodyear, don't think that it's just that somebody scrubbed it off. It was actually made that way. And I don't know why, like I said, they got rid of the red one on the back, but those are the 2 ones they got rid of, but they left the Tyco on the hood and the rear quarter. And for the 10 of you guys that are here, or ladies, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be prejudiced. I don't know if there's any females watching, but here we have the very first of Scott's Zero cars. I have more than one. And this is the Alan Kulwicki Thunderbird, all chrome. They made 4 different cars, Labonte, Earnhardt, the Alan Kulwicki one, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember who the other one was. But suffice to say, these were pre-production samples that do not have part numbers, that in the Tyco book specifically say do not even know if produced or even existed. If do, 0 rating. So very, very rare. These things routinely go for $80 to $100 plus if they're the Earnhardt version. Um, I was just fortunate enough to get one from overseas before they sold out, and I don't think it's going to come out, but there is a part number that they put in on the tampo on the chrome back here, and I'll try to read it for us. So small, 2552. Wait, 259052, something like that. But that's just badass, guys. That's a 0. So if you guys have ever wondered what a 0 looked like, oh, there it is in all of its glory. Well, my version of the 0, the stock car. Like I said, there's 4 of them. Obviously, they're not all Thunderbirds. There's 2 Monte Carlos or Luminas. I'm not sure which, but I got one of the 4. And obviously, the most collectible of these 0s would be the Dale Earnhardt Seniors. So if you ever see one of these bad boys and someone doesn't know what they've got, try to get it, because it's what they call the rarest of the rare. It's a 0. Anybody ever seen one of these before out there? The 10 of us that are watching have them, or I'd really be jealous if someone said, "Oh yeah, I got all 4." You're lame for only having one. And then, while I'm waiting to see if anybody does have one or seen one of those before, I'll show the actual Xerox car that one's based off of. Nope. Yeah. Thank you, Ryburn, for confirming. Yeah. No, those are rare to see. Like I said, those are 0s. Like I said, in the book, they specifically say they don't even know if they existed. New old stock, Thunderbird, Super Coupe, Alan Kwiecki. Once again, good looking car. Takes me back to the day. Got all the right tempo on it and stuff on a 440X2 chassis. Like I said, that's not the only 1 or 0 that I have. That's a 0, but I've got some 0s and 1s. Never knew they existed. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, no, like I said, that's one of those reasons why I'm showing this stuff, is because I was fortunate enough to get it, and I knew it existed in the book because I saw the pictures, and obviously they made it or there wouldn't be pictures. So when I saw one for sale, I was like, buy now, buy now. It was just that quick. Here we have the Pontiac, I believe. If memory serves me correct. Older version. This is the Michael Waltrip number 30 Pennzoil. Yellow wheels on it, pretty snazzy. Probably could have won a lot more races with this car. Mikey wasn't behind the wheel, but he wrecked a lot. HP7 chassis comes factory with this one. If you remember Mikey in the day in this car, there's times he was fast and then he'd crash and burn. He had a rough life. He had to try to live up to his brother. And his brother was a cheating fool too. All right, here we go. Winner, chicken dinner. We got a Rusty car. This is the air dam version. There is a non-air dam version that is the more rare, higher collectible version of this Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac stock car from back in the day, from Rusty's days, when he was just first getting started in cup racing with Roger Penske Racing. Hey, man, no problem, Dan. Have a good night, buddy. Hopefully you can make it out to tomorrow night for the next live feed on Friday night. If not, I'll see you on Saturday on your live feed. Congratulations again on your 1 year, if I don't get to talk to you before then. All right. So this Miller Genuine Draft Rusty car is still rare and hard to get, but the rare one, if you're looking for it, is the one without the air balance, air dam underneath there. And it gets pretty pricey because these cars usually sell like that. Thank you, Cliff. All right, cool. I'll see you tomorrow night, Dan. Have a good night, buddy. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the rest of your Friday Eve, as I call Thursdays. And this is a new old stock. This is one of the ones that I was telling Mr. Fish that we had to wait to get to my Tycos. This is one I bought overseas, new old stock, got it for 50 bucks. Shipped to my door from halfway around the world. Took a month and a half to get here, but it was worth the wait. And like I said, sometimes those vendors put up stuff on eBay and it's a buy it now. And it's all because that's where that stuff was produced over in that part of the world. And somebody buys a warehouse and then somebody finds some stuff and they give it away basically over there. And then somebody else puts it on eBay and makes a good buck on it. Here we have a Buick Regal, something you don't see every day. And there are a couple of versions of this car. This is what they call the cost cutter car. It does not have the primary sponsors on it or on the trunk lid. So this is the rarer of the two. Good looking car. I'm trying to, like hell, to get the Skull Bandit Harry Gant, but man, they're either really yellowed or if they're in good shape like this one, they want top dollar. I don't blame them. I'd want it too if I had a car that nice, but you know, damn, my wallet doesn't allow me to pay top dollar. Barely allows me to pay $8. And here's a little Tyco history. This is your free bonus car that you could get back in the day if you just mailed in the coupon on one of the packages. They gave away this Buick Regal, and at one time they gave away one of the Wildcat Tyco F1 cars. And that was free. All you had to do is just mail it in and pay shipping. And you can find a lot of these still, but they're harder to find that aren't all scratched to hell. And you can see mine's got a little damage here where the black's been rubbed off, but the chrome itself doesn't have a lot of scratches in it. None of it's been worn through. And what's really cool, I like I said, someone actually used the tires that they used to include with the kits on this one. And if you remember what I said, I clean up the bodies, make sure they run, and then I put them right back the way they were when I got it, because that's the kind of like the history that I got the car. You guys can't tell, I got a lot of stock cars. I like my stock cars. Here we have another Pontiac. This is number 75, Valvoline. This is an air dam car. You can see how low that air dam sits. It will hit in the middle of the corners going around the track, so it will try to lift the front end up. But if you've got a routed track and you're all flat and you don't have any bank corners, then this thing will hug the road. This one's used, obviously. It's got a little bit of tampo wear here and there, you know, some of the paint rubbed off, but it's still a good rendition of this car. HP7 chassis, which is the original chassis that came with this one. And I don't know if you guys are jumping ahead of me here and seeing what's next, but we have the King, the next 3 in a row. Richard himself. There's 2 versions of this car. There's a light blue, which is this one, and a dark blue. It's really hard because to find one of these that have a lot of the stickers and the tampo still on them, because of you know, that's where you grab them, and these are those little decals that are, you know, like water slides on, so that's why they wear off really good, but or really quickly. But this one was in a good shape. It's on a curb hugger chassis, which is correct. And once again, you can see the size of the cars back in the day, and the real stock cars were stock cars compared to the stuff that we were looking at. Even though those were in the 80s, those Regals and stuff, and the Pontiacs and stuff like that were all, but these are, you know, the big old boat real cars. These are the ones that made Petty famous. And speaking of the Regals, that's the next Petty car in line, is the Regal version. And, oops, I lost one. This one, new old stock. There's 2 versions of this car also. This is the least expensive version, because this is the one that has the S mark on it and the STP here on the, well, no, the other one has the S mark on it. Doesn't have the S mark on it. It's got the STP here, but it doesn't have whatever that little sponsor is right there. So the cost saver car of this Buick Regal that he drove is the more collectible one. So this is the least collectible of them, but it's still a Petty car. And I grew up watching the King. I used to like him getting out and wearing his old hat with the feathers. So pretty cool car to have. Like I said, sometimes you buy cars and just because of nostalgia and memories versus, you know, whether it's going to run good on the track. And then those of us that remember Petty failing as he got older, this is some of the last years of Richard Petty when he ran in this Pontiac. So this is the one that came in the twin pack that had the Dodge Charger in it with the wing that I showed earlier. Hush, my dog getting mad at me because I'm not paying him any attention. So still cool car. Like I said, I like the Petty stuff. There's a lot of those that are very, very pricey. White tires, yeah, it was a thing for a while. Yeah, white tires. When you went to a hobby shop, if you wanted to buy silicone tires or hop-up tires, they were white. I mean, in my experience. And then if you notice, when we get to some of my carded Tyco cars that came with tires, you'll see I'm looking at 3 different versions right now. And one set was lime green yellow, one was like a hot pink, and one is kind of I don't know, a darker blue. So yeah, they changed up colors. So to snatch them up, I guess let everybody know you were serious about racing because you had different colored tires on your car. So all right, so we got the first 48 done. Anybody have a favorite out of that? Oh, no problem, Clint. If you don't know, you don't know. So I tell everybody, and I don't know a lot, so I ask a lot of questions. Before I put this one away, is there any one of them that you saw that you want to try to see again? I'm looking to make sure the glare's not hitting you. I'm looking on my TV screen. Oh, no problem, Cliff. All right. Well, if nobody's got any question on this one, like I said, I got to rip through the 3 to try to get as close to 9 to 9:30 is what it's looking like now. Because I started a little later because ProTinker got done a little later. That's all right. They apparently had some good racing. Had a full house of guys, from what I understand. All right. Let me look at the TV real quick and make sure that that's positioned. Okay, cool. And once again, unless I know a story, I'll just kind of give a highlight of what it is and rotate it around on the little piece of track and slap her in there. Since there's 2 versions of this bad boy, and it does have the white boots, as people call them, the white shoes. Both of them do. I'll show you. They're both on the Tyco Pro, and this is you see there's 2 different kinds of Tyco Pros in case you didn't know, and I'll just explain. These are the buttons, is what they're called, and then they have the wipers. And so that one's on the Pro, and this one's on a curb hugger. And they made these particular Mustangs, funny cars is what they're called. They made them long enough to where those chassis, obviously the Pro's accurate, but even the curb hugger is accurate for it too. The only difference that I can tell between these 2 cars, and the only thing that it says in the Tyco Bible is you can see the number 1 back here on the deck lid. You can see it here on the door. And this one has neither. No 1 there and no 1 on the back there. And there are 2 separate part numbers, and they were made specifically this way. And what's ironic, yeah, you can see how old this one, how long it's been sitting. It looks like it's got a flat. Well, it does have a flat, but that's how long it's been sitting. That's why it's in such good shape. I mean, if you look at those buttons, those are barely touched. Yeah, for that old of a car, that'll designate it somewhere in the mid to early 70s. So you're looking at probably a close to 50-year-old car there. So anyway, 2 different versions. I always used to think that number 1, it was some little kid had, when they owned it, they put it on there. And then when I got my Tyco book, I was like, oh, the light bulb went off. And then when they showed the 2 different versions. So there we go. The older version and then the newer version. Like I said, I'm a Mustang guy, so that's why you'll see a theme here, because right now the next couple of cars are Mustangs, I believe. And then we'll hit our Chevy for a little bit, and then we'll go back to Ford a little bit. Like I said, these are all jumbled up because they got wrapped up the last time and got taken out of place. Tyco Pro, quite a bit faster. For that era, yes. For comparatively speaking to like a 440, no. Not even close. Um, yeah, not even close. That's why, like, they have the curb hugger chassis here, and they actually try to get magnets to try to hold the cars to the track. This is the another Mustang funny car. This is all chrome. This is the number 3 version. Let me see if it's going to show up on the TV. But what's really cool about this one is it's got that trick tape on it. I'm trying to, I can see it as plain as day, but that light's whitening it out on the TV. I'm trying to change the angle. No, that ain't going to work. Man, that sucks. Well, I wish you guys could see what I see, but the chrome is bouncing off the light so bad that you can't see the trick tape that's in the middle here and the number 3. It's just bouncing out too bad. This is also on a curb hugger chassis, and chrome's in obviously really good shape, no scratches, so it was a really good find for something that's that old, mid 70s, 40 to 45 years old at least. All 4 of these on the top are what they call the Mustang funny cars. Maybe we can get it to show up on this version. This is the yellow and black. Okay. Well, no, it's whitening it out too. That light. Well, there you go. You can kind of see it. See that trick tape? That was on the top of the other one. It's on top of this one too, but it doesn't have a part number. Good looking car. Chrome rims. Curb hugger chassis. And not to leave out my GM buddies. One of the guys that races at the track is a GM guy. And if any of you remember the other night when I got my Batman Tumbler, this is the set car for it. Gotham Police Department, GPD. There's 2 versions of this car. This one's got the in precinct on it. Good looking Camaro. Wish it lit up, but it doesn't. 440 X2 chassis. Like I said, this is a set only car. This is when Mattel quit making individual cars, and the only way you could buy slot cars from Mattel was in their sets. And this one came from, I think, the Batman Forever or Gotham Chase or something like that. But anyway, it's a set car, and now I have the other set car, so I just need to try to find that track. So you know what Scott's looking for. Fast time, yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for back in the day, because that was my first chaparral. Whenever I'm saving my personal cars from back in my youth, I'm saving that case for the very last. That'll be like the grand finale. But you'll see that that was my very first Tyco, was a Tyco Pro, and my chaparral was on that Tyco Pro chassis with those buttons lighted. Like I mentioned, not the expensive version. You can still see these on eBay a lot. This is part of their, you can see the little hook up there in the front. Okay, that's because they had a little tether that this was like the follow car, and then it would have this car pulling it. So you'd have 2 versions of this car, one powered, one not. This one would be the puller because, or the one being pulled because it has the tether on the bottom to clip on. So the whole idea is that you could drive your car, and this one that would be swinging around in the back would try to keep the other guy from passing you. Yeah, it didn't last very long, but they actually made race sets that specifically for that, and I like that specific 80s Camaro and the red, white, and the blue. Like I said, I'm a Ford guy, but Ford's got to have something to race to get out there on the track. I put a 440 X2 chassis underneath it. And here is another 79 Mustang. This is the Motorcraft version. You can see it's missing the glass. I need to get me some glass for it. But it's really hard to find these without the Motorcraft worn off of them. And as you can see on both sides, it's perfect tempo on the top. This is a really good looking car. The only reason It wouldn't bring very much money now because it's missing that glass, but trust me, I can find glass. Good looking car. Originally came on HP7 chassis. That's a new old stock chassis underneath it. But yeah, this is going to be a shelf queen for the rest of its life. Thank you. And then we're going to see this jam car quite a bit because you can buy these things a dime a dozen. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but I am going to spend a little bit of time because someone took the trouble. This is from their TCR, Total Control Racing, and this would be the jam car that would light up the lights, and it would actually create a diversion around the track that you were supposed to have to race around and do it. Somebody took an HP7 chassis and then put the hop-up front end narrow wheels on it, put a gear kit on it, and made this a real runner. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. I got to have one of these that's not that stupid curve hugger chassis. And then here's the really cool part is he soldered in a light so that the little lights will come in on top. So pretty cool. Like I said, it was one of those didn't need it, just got it because I wanted it. And this one's actually going to hit the track. I can't wait until I get my track up and running. That's why I bought it, because I was like, well, I'm not going to waste a good chassis on one of those jam cars. And then I saw that and I was like, hey, somebody already took the time and put the lights on it and everything. All right. And here is another set only car. There is another version of this police car, and its lights are the smaller ones that we're going to see on the next car, the next Camaro that's a sheriff. And that's the easy way to tell those apart. And then the number here is a little different, but they both say Hot Wheels and then C280 in the back. So this is once again when Mattel had quit making individual bubble cars on cards, and the only way to get cars was in sets. I call those cheese wedge Camaros. That's what they reminds me of. Oh, I'm sorry, it says state police, not sheriff. But so the other version of that black and white car that I just showed you had the big square lights on top. It has these little what they call arrow lights on the top on it. So there's two versions of that black one. One version of this one, state police. A lot of people have seen the black and white, but not a lot of people have seen this one. So this might be rare for some people to see. But once again, it's when Mattel did not make individual cars. It was set only. And if I had more time, I'd dig out the book and tell you exactly which sets each one of these went to. But we don't have all night, and I have to work tomorrow. And I still haven't had dinner. So this moving and working thing is trying to kill me. All right, and here we have a couple of set vets. So I'm going to put them both up there at the same time so we can kind of kill two birds with one stone. In fact, the next two rows are Corvettes. So see, I'm not just a Ford guy. These are from their Night Glow set, the red and the blue. There's several different versions of these Tyco vets. Even the Night Glow versions, different year models. I can't remember which ones these are, but they both glow in the dark. And what's really cool at night, after I've turned all this off, I have a few Night Glow cars and they light up the cases that they're in. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, just a neat novelty thing. And that just happens to be the red and the blue set versions for that model of vet. They're on the 440 chassis, which is correct. Not the X2s, but the 440s. So these are legit. These aren't someone's made homemaders. I don't have this track, but I bought the cars as a set. Anybody out there have any of these? Nope, we're down to 8. Well, like I said, it bounces up and down. I fully expect that. If any of you are watching this from beginning to end, hats off. You are a true slot car fan. I don't know that I could sit here and listen to me ramble for 2 hours. But anyway, so we're going to go from a pair of set cars to one of the set cars that I have. And this one can get pretty pricey on eBay. I actually got this one from ProTinker. He added a new old stock loose, so I took advantage and grabbed it before they were sold out. I don't know if he's going to get any more or has any more, but this is a set-only Corvette, convertible vet with the red man in there, and it's called the Flooded Cockpit. That's why you can't see his arms. Yeah, see, Clint? Yeah, see, me too, from PTT. So little did you know, but you bought a rare car. And I'm sure if Brian would have known it was rare, he wouldn't have priced it at what he priced it at when he was selling them. I think I got this one for what, if you got, you correct me if I'm wrong, for like 24, 25 bucks, somewhere in there. Steal for what you're getting, what they're getting for on eBay now. So new old stock, convertible vet, flooded cockpit with a man. Yeah, I'll say Clint. See, yeah. So you did good. I don't. Did you know you were buying a collector when you bought it? When I saw it, I knew what it was, and I couldn't believe he had it priced so cheap. So that's what made me think he had a ton of them. Turned out he didn't have a ton of them. He just didn't know what he had. Or maybe he didn't. He was just giving everybody a good deal. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He just knew and was giving everybody a good deal. I'll give Brian that. Right there. All right. Here we have another set Corvette. This is the versions of this vet that actually came with mirrors that weren't molded into the body. That's what makes these versions of this Corvette unique. Regrettably, this set car only has one of the mirrors there. I'm going to see if it's going to show up on the TV. And it's just a little black itty, yep, it is, little itty bitty black mirror. And then on the other side here, you can see the hole where the other one was supposed to be. But X2, number 67, red on the 440 X2 chassis. Like I said, this is a set only Corvette, according to the Tyco Bible. And if you're seeing a theme here, you're going to hear me say it a lot. Here's another set only Corvette. This is another version that came in one of their Night Glow sets. The other one was red, kind of like the red and the blue there with the stripes. Well, this one actually had a number. This was the number 3, and it's the older version of like the Stingrays, I think the 70s or something like that. Like I said, C7, no, not C7, C5, C4, somewhere in there. Good looking car. Like I said, it glows up still to this day, and it's over 40 years old. That's what's really cool. Slicker's not on a pump handle. I like that, Ryburn. Thanks. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Yes, very slick. And once again, another Corvette. Looks like the same body year style. This is another set version. And once again, you can see I got the mirror on one side, a hole where it should have been over here, kind of like I had on the other one that was number 67 that was a set version of this. They pumped out a lot of Corvettes, Tyco did, but still slick looking car. So if you were a collector, the perfect one would be just like this, but with a mirror. I mean, because there's nothing else wrong with this car. It's got the bed in the window. It's still the original sticker. None of the tampo on the sticker or on the red stripe is messed up, and there's no nicks, scratches, or anything. So, you know, other than that mirror being missing, this is about as good as it's going to get. And it came on a 440 chassis, not an X2, in case you were wondering. And when we get to one that's molded in, then I'll show you the difference. These are some of the newer vets. That's a kind of unique aqua color. Solid, slick looking car. It says Corvette on the front license plate, in the back there. That's it. Just a good looking car. Pretty slick. I haven't looked up the history on this one. I couldn't tell you if it's set or not. Something leads me to believe that based on my row here that was the theme I was going after, but I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth. I'll look it up and then let everybody know tomorrow that if you were on the live feed last night and you saw this Aqua Vet and I didn't know if it was a set car or not, it is or it isn't. I'll tell everybody. But good looking car. Like I said, I may be a Ford guy, but I appreciate good looking cars. If it's a good looking car, it's a good looking car. Nice color. Yeah, thank you, Robert. I thought so too. And here's one that, even if you're a Tyco fan, I've only seen a couple of times. This is a set car, the from the Shark versus Stingray set, and this is the Stingray, and the other one has a shark on it. So once again, set only car, kind of rare. In fact, no, it is rare. So I don't know if this is the one that a lot of you guys have seen. Pretty cool. One they did C5. Thank you, Clint. One they did to try to get the kids involved. Yeah, I understand why they called this one the Stingray, but I'm not understanding the shark. Oh, Mako shark maybe. Okay, I just now thought of that. So maybe that's where they came up with it. But anyway, good set car. Very little use on a 440 X2 chassis. Set only car. This is when Tyco was gone, and it was Mattel Tyco and Hot Wheels, and they no longer made the carded cars. You'll hear that a lot. It's so sad for me to say it, but it's true. And here we have the vaunted blue ZR1 Bet with white wheels, with the Corvette up there in the ZR1 and the ZR1. You can see it's been worn off right in through there. It's been a runner. Still a Corvette though. Pretty cool looking. Like I said, when sometimes I get these cars that on a price that even if I wanted to collect, like I would want a perfect version of this car to collect and put in the case. As you can see there, the chassis is in great shape. The body's in great shape. It's just the tampo is a little messed up. So now if I can find one with really good tampo on it, then I'll replace, the chassis and the tires and the wheels and put, this good stuff underneath it and then make this one a runner. So, recycle it. Well, yeah, we got another expensive Corvette coming up here, as if any Corvette was cheap. But this is another set-only car. This is on the Mattel 440 X2 chassis, which is a little bit different. Don't know if a lot of guys have seen this one. Number 5. Good-looking car. I love you can tell this silver rims are still nice and shiny. Tampo is perfect. It shines. This is a good looking vet. Very, very little use. Never seen those. Yeah, see, that's like I said, some of these Corvettes, believe it or not, guys, I bought, get back up there while I'm talking. I bought that whole row that I just showed off from at one time. All 4 cars were included. Cost me over $100, but it was worth it because I got 4 cars and they were all set cars. And the only one that really showed any damage was that ZR1. And I knew that Stingray, and I knew this one was valuable, and that Aqua one, I'm almost positive it's a set car too. So pretty cool. Like I said, I'm glad to show some of these cars that you've never seen them in person and you've only seen them in a magazine. It's pretty cool to see them, know that they're out there, that someone actually has one, that they're not just stuck in somebody's closet or crushed. And a lot of you may remember I told you, I don't know who remembers what, but I buy a lot of cars from my childhood that I painted over, and I'm trying to get those that I painted over and get the best version of them that I can. And here's the first version of that quest to reclaim my old car's glories before the testers paint and decals took them over. And this is the chrome number 8 Blue Max, and we'll see it later again whenever I pull out my personals from my youth. But as you can see, this thing is about as close to new as you're going to get for a car that's this old. It's on a HP, I'm not sorry, a curve hugger chassis, and just a sweet looking car. Why I painted it was back in the day I hated the chrome cars because there were no chrome cars racing on the racetrack, so I thought it was stupid that they made a race car chrome. So I painted it, and I painted it blue, but I painted it. So there's the little story of my Blue Max. This one's perfect in every way. Nothing broke on it, no scratches, no nothing. In fact, there's no discernible grooves in these shoes. Hey, man, no problem, Adam. Thank you for stopping in, man. We've only made it through one case, and we're about halfway through the second one, which means we'll be at the halfway point for the night, and we're already about to 9 o'clock. So, like I told everybody, I was going to try to cut it off at 9, but the ProTinker went a little late, and I didn't start till 7:15. I've got to get at least 3 of these packed per day. So if people want to stay past 9, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. If I don't see anybody there, I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing, and that way tomorrow people can check it out. I can always eat dinner whenever I'm done because I know these have to be this has to be packed tonight before I go to bed, and I don't want to pack it unless I'm showing everybody, because that was the whole reason why I was doing these live feeds. Kind of defeats the purpose if I'm packing them and there's nobody there to see it, or I'm not recording it. Here's the Lola 260 with the old Union Jack on it, another chrome version. Good rendition. Nothing broken, nothing missing. Like some people like to paint the pipes. This one's not been touched. Yeah, see, Cliff, I was right there with you. The only reason why I'm kind of digging on them now is because of the rarity, because a lot of people just treated them like crap and scratched them, and they're getting harder to find, and so their value is going up. This one's on a curve hugger chassis. Once again, it is so new that there's no creases in the shoes from the, I mean, you can see where it's ramping around on the track, but you can run your fingernail across it and it doesn't even catch it. So that's how little use this one's had on the track. That's why the chrome's obviously in this good shape. But I don't know if a lot of people have seen that one in this good a shape. I'm sure you've seen it. Just most of the time destroyed, missing a roll bar, missing a ring, driver's head, stuff like that. And here we have a Camaro funny car, and I had to get this one just because I had those 4 Mustang funny cars. And as those of you know, I do have a bunch of the Auto World drag cars, and we're going to be doing some drag racing with Dan and some other channels. So I had to get this checkered Camaro. I believe that's what the 72 nose on that bad boy, something like that, 71, 72. But it's all OG. You can still find these on eBay every so often. Just one thing I will point out, a lot of them are missing that little chrome snorkel there in the middle. So if you wanted to collect, make sure it's on the curve hugger chassis, and make sure that, obviously the Tampo checkered squares are as good as they can, and it has that little chrome snorkel there for the motor. And other than that, that's just a good looking car for checkers. I like the shiny things. Yeah, see, like I said, as I got older, Joe, they started growing on me more. Maybe it's because I could see my reflection in them or something. I don't know. When I was younger, I hated them. When I got older, for some reason, it flipped. I guess it's kind of like your taste in food. They say your taste in food changes every so often. I don't know. I still like the same things I liked when I was a kid. So here we have another Camaro. This is from the late 70s. I'm guessing like a 77, 78 Z28, somewhere there, 79, 80. And it actually, they were produced with these little tampos on it. Now, someone else has added these Auto World stickers there, and this UAW and a Chevrolet and this Goodyear. They added those, but that Texaco, that's legit. That's supposed to be there. Obviously, Auto World has nothing to do with Tyco, so Tyco would not be putting an Auto World sticker on their Camaro. Obviously, the wrong chassis. This chassis, this car came out before this chassis was even produced. So, but like I said, I got it because of the car itself. Older Camaro. I used to have a buddy that had a 78 Z28 that we used to go cruising around in when we were in high school. It wasn't a new one, obviously, because we were in high school, but that was his first car. All right, and here we have a runner, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because it's a runner from for my what I'm calling my American Graffiti's house class. So it's just I got it because it's all tore up. You can see it's damaged. The front windshield that's supposed to be separated broke off. You can see the chrome pipe there that's missing here. This is from that Sparkin rods, remember? That's supposed to be the little flint rim. It still glows in the dark. It still works, but like I said, reason why I got this one is for that American Graffiti's class as part of the 40 Ford Coupes. So, like I said, won't spend a lot of time on this one because we'll see it again a couple more times probably. Love your Camaro, yeah. No, dude, like I said, I had my best friend, had a Camaro. Another best friend that's still my friend now. He drives a Mustang now, but back in the day, he had a Trans Am. I was the oddball. I was the only one that liked Ford. Okay, so I talk a lot about these total control racing and the lane changing. Here you go. Here's one of them. This is the emergency van for something like that. So you can see the shoes there. They actually turn this one into one that you can run on the slotted track. I think this is one of the ones I bought from Taiwan. They're always trying to dump these things off cheap. So I got it and a couple of others. But they made it a runner at least. But I wanted it because it's a new old stock body. So that's why I got the van. It was actually purchased to be for the track diorama. So that's what's going to free up some of these spaces in my display case once I get my track running and have start working on the diorama stuff. Is some of these support vehicles, as I call them, will be hitting the track. All right, you guys saw me get both of these and a look what Scott's got, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but I will make a correction. As you can see there, we have the 75 and the 76. All right, so I mentioned the last time that I thought the 76 was the odd one, or the normal one, and the 75 was the normal one, 76 was the odd one. I had it just backwards. They're all listed as 76 in the catalog. There was never a 75 listed. But obviously you can see there's two different versions of this car, 75 and 76. So the rarer of the two would be the 75, not the 76 like I thought. So I was just back-asswards on that. But they had the very same car, very same tempo, very same everything, except for that number. And Tyco never listed the 75 as a part number in the catalog. But they did in the catalog list it separately, but they rated them both the same as far as availability because they didn't know how many of those had been specifically made different than the 76. So did a little research on those. And this is two of, I think, the 6 loose 300 ZXs that I have. And I have, I don't know how many on cards. New in the blister pack. All right, so like I said, a lot of these got jumbled out of place. Z cars look awesome. Yes, Clint. Yes, that's why I wanted both of those, and I got that Aurora track set that I don't know if you were with us last night, and so you saw the Aurora version of that 300 ZX, and you saw the track set that it came in. So that was quite the episode there. And now we're going to switch over to these three are the only three out of this whole case that are not Tyco. And these are from the Aurora Screechers series. And this is a CUDA. And you can see you can loosen up that screw. And they called them Screechers because the front ends were independent like the old Tycos used to be. So the ass ends would be able to kick out. And the car would still be able to maintain power because the shoes would stay because the front end swiveled. So that was the new thing about these old Aurora Screechers from the mid 70s, 74, I think 78 is when these were produced, somewhere in there. But this is the Spider-Man CUDA is what they called that one. You're saying to yourself, why'd you get one of those? Well, because I had a couple of the new old stock screechers that actually came in a couple of the pit boxes for free back in the day when you bought them, when you bought the pit cases. So I'll get both of those out since they're kind of special. Another CUDA. This is the Flame CUDA, same screecher chassis, like I said, with the swiveling front end. That's the big thing on those. See how that front end swivels? So when it's zooming around the track, the ass end can kick out. And here's the Pinto version. As you can see, the wheels are turned there on that one. See how they're kicked out? So that would allow the ass end to screech out like it was peeling out. I guess it was their theory behind it. Obviously, not for racing, more for entertainment, because you know, if you're spinning, you ain't winning. Wrap these bad boys up real big, quickly, and even the next one there in line is one that I got the other night that I shoved up in there, so I won't spend a lot of time on it either. I got to get more bubble out here. Already went through a bag. Hey, yes, I need a professional. I need some professional help. I need help a lot of reasons, but some help packing these things would be nice too. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I know you guys are selling collections. Mine isn't for sale, but some of the stuff you guys have been selling rivals my collection easily and puts it to shame. So I'm, even though I can't buy a lot of those cars, I'm seeing a lot of them that kind of like I'm showing to people tonight that they've probably never seen before and that are really rare. And it's just nice to see that they're out there. So thank you for stopping by. Hey, Adam. Like I mentioned, this was look what Scott got on one of the other night episodes. This is what they call a test shot body. So this is what, for those in the slot car world that don't know, when I say test shot body, this is a pre-production body that the manufacturer is put out there to give to Tyco or Mattel or whoever to give the thumbs up, thumbs down. Do the dimensions look right? The wheel wells right? Does it sit the way you want it to? So before they make a production run and sign off on it, this is what they call the test shot. So if you ever see these are kind of unique to get because they don't have a part number. There's who knows how many of them made. So these are what I would consider a zero car, just because, like I said, you just don't know how many of them are made and whether or not the test shot that you got actually made it into production. So that's pretty cool. So you'll see some of these pop up on eBay every so often. Pretty cool car to get. Hey, all right. Yeah, all right. Hammer down, as Dan would say. Smash the hell out of that like button and subscribe button. And the next four that you're going to see here are the vaunted Fieros. And these are all four versions of the Fiero I have here. I bought them all at one time from one guy that had a collection of them. This one is the V6. This is the U-turn version of this Fiero. And what I mean, the U-turn chassis, which means it's got those solid front wheels so that it could spin around and go the other direction on the track. So it literally spins and goes back the other way for like what they call some of those race chase sets. That's how they chase. They turn around and chase you and go back the other way. That's how some of those Vipers are, U-turn Vipers. The Mustang 79 Mustang cop cars or some U-turns like that. So if you are a racer and your class and you're into Tyco and your class requires you to have a hard body, here you go. This is a winner in every word out there. I mean, look how small and light and low to the ground. Oh yeah, these things fly around the track. Low center of gravity. So there's the U-turn version of the Mighty Fiero. Here's the non-U-turn version of the Mighty Fieros. Has white wheels instead of silver. You can see there. Same tempo, just it's not a U-turn. It's on the same HP7 chassis, but you can see the wheels aren't solid. So this is the actual runner. There's your U-turn version. Since they looks the same other than the wheels and not, being a U-turn, I'll kind of zip through them. And I'll save the most collectible one for last. I like this one the best out of all four of them, quite honestly. The black with the gold and the gold wheels, and the gold bird on the front. Trying to remind you of the old Trans Ams and stuff. Like I said, this cool looking little car. Be hard as hell to see it on the track going really fast, but still pretty cool. Like I said, I like it. And when I had the chance to buy all four of them at the same time, what easy way to complete your collection of all those cars. Once again, HP7 chassis, same guy, same owner, barely used any of them. He told me he ran them a few times around the track and put them on his shelf, and they've never been around my track. They've just been in the shelf. So once again, you can scrape your fingernail on those shoes and not even get it hung up on any discernible crease or line that's been dug into the shoes yet. So out of the four Fieros, here's your rare one. This is the rarest of them all. The white with a sunroof, white wheels, HP7 chassis. Pretty cool looking car. If I was, going to get a hard body car for a racing class and there was no restrictions on body type, I'd try to get one of these white ones because you could make it blazing fast and still be able to see it out there on the track. So if you're a collector, there's the one you want to get. But honestly, there's only four of them. Might as well get all four. I mean, what the hell? You have the black one, Ryburn. Cool. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Robert. You nailed it right there on the test car, on the test shot on the Monte Carlo. You nailed it to a T. Because basically they make a little run of however many cars. I don't know what they do for him, but for Tyco, they used to put them on trees, is what they're called, tree molds, and then they would fix them up and send them out. I don't know how many of them they do for Brian, but that's where he would get the chance to make any pre-production changes. So he could say, like he's done in the past, like I want the Betsy Ross flag here. I want to say ProTinker over here, or whatever, and then they can make that change before it hits the production line. Yeah. So we went through a lot of set Corvettes. Well, here's a set only Thunderbird, and this is from the Toy Story set, which much makes this one so rare. Kind of a two-tone, good-looking car, and one of the harder ones to get. Got the chrome rims on it, 440X2 chassis. Obviously, if it came with Toy Story, then it's been made later, but good looking. You'll see these again because I got a whole row of Thunderbirds down there, and I got a story behind them, but we'll wait for that story until I get there. So if you're a Thunderbird guy, that would be a good one to collect. Here's the Moroso Pinto funny car. Brand new, old stock, HP7 chassis. Pretty cool. I won't spend a lot of time on it. Nothing really special about those old ones because they, you can still find these on eBay dime a dozen. So it's not like I'm showing off something that hadn't been seen. Oh, hey, thanks, Brian. I appreciate you stopping in, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I watch you all the time, so it's kind of nice to have you watching me for a change. Please, like I've told everybody, if this is your first time joining me live on any of these streams, if you've got some education, or if I'm wrong about something, or you know something about one of these cars that I don't know, this is meant to be interactive, so please let me know. So we've gone away from the Tyco and the AFX, and we've gone to the vaunted Lifelike. This is a Davey Allison number 28 Lifelike car. And you're asking yourself, Scott, why would you buy a Lifelike chassis? I bought this specifically so I could buy one of those new chassis and put the clip on it and make it eligible for my unlimited stock car class, because look how low that bad boy sits. Low center of gravity, fits the hard body criteria. So it's going to be a tough one to beat because it sits so low. So that's why I got this one. So little story on that. Oh, so this is Ryan. Oh, Ryan. Okay, Ryan. Thank you for joining. Well, I still see you and Tim. So it's kind of nice to see somebody else watching me instead of watching you. Kind of unique. Sorry, my feeds aren't as good as yours. I don't have an iPad. I just have a crappy Logi webcam. Here's another lifelike. I put them both next to each other. I got this one just because it's a Mustang, and well, you know, I'm a Mustang guy. It's in really good shape. This is one of four colors that they came out with this car. Like I said, I won't spend a lot of time on this one because I did it whenever I got it. But it's I like this one because it's a really accurate rendition of what a Mustang would look like. You know, it looks proportioned right. I'll put it that way. And once again, I can still, with that chassis, I can still put a clip underneath it and run a Viper chassis or a Hardin Creek chassis or whatever. So I'm not limited if I wanted to race it to that lifelike chassis. Put him up. And then here we have what looks like to me is somebody that did not like the bird or any of the tampo on this Trans Am because it's been cleaned off. So it was one of those ones where you're buying 2 or 3 cars and this one comes with it. Well, that's how I got that one. It's not like I reached out and tried to buy this one specifically. It's older. It's got an HP7 chassis underneath it that's brand new. I haven't even researched it. It may come like this, but it just looks like to me, based on what I can kind of see in there, that there used to be some stuff there, but someone's kind of scraped it or done my oven cleaner trick and gotten rid of it. Oh, this second, I got to grab another bag of bubble wrap. Let's see, I've got pre-cut bags of bubble wrap from the last time that I wrapped it. So let me get another stack up here. And I am looking for that Trans Am to go with my race set that I just got. Haven't found the right one. But while we're on Trans Ams, might as well talk about the old turbo Trans Am. Here's the gold version of that turbo Trans Am, as you can see there. This would be like the one that I told you guys just a few minutes ago that my buddy had a Trans Am in high school, the one that owns a Mustang now. And his was gray or silver, but say the scoop is off to the side. I can just tell you this from riding in his car. They used to have 3 little lights for the turbo boost and tell you when you were hitting turbo boost. I think it's a 305 turbo boosted. Yeah, it needed every bit of that turbo just to get it out of its own way because they were so heavy. But we did a lot of cruising in that car. Okay, cool. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it, buddy. And that's a good looking version of that turbo car. The tampo's all still there. It's got the correct gold wheels. The wings still got it. The bird's all still there, or the fire chicken as some people call it. And it's on the original HP7 chassis. And then if you guys can see what's next, you know what I'm getting ready to talk about, which is a couple of my favorites. I like my 280s and I like my 300Zs and I like the 240Zs. And this one, new old stock. Very fortunate to get it. This is the Budweiser, Paul Newman, in case you guys were wondering. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, Joe's here. Every time I told you guys if there was something unique or valuable or collectible about each of these cars, I'd tell you this is a collector, big time because of the Budweiser on it and the history behind the car itself, the real life car. Paul Newman, the actor, drove it. And then as far as the collector goes, I saw Ryan was here. Is that who you were talking about, Adam? Yeah, no, I was in shock when I saw ProTinkerToys.com pop up. I was like, holy crap. I'm impressed. Thank you guys for supporting me. You know, I've supported you guys for years, so I appreciate the reciprocation. Honestly, I do. Been following your live feed before you guys even had 500 subscribers. I just didn't have my own channel, so I couldn't comment on anything. I didn't literally start my own YouTube channel until this January. But I've been with you guys the whole time. Even more whenever the pandemic hit and they sent us all home to work from home. So thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you. So the collectible versions of these cars, there's two versions of this car, and there's a red tail that you can see there and a blue tail. I don't have the rare one. The blue tail is the rare one. They started out blue and then they went to red, and that's the way they all stayed after that. Oh, hey, Mandy. Thank you for joining in too. This is like a Pro Tinker feed without being a Pro Tinker. And hey, I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to pull out my teeth. I'm not going to spit out any food at the camera. So two versions of the Paul Newman 280ZX. Red wing, blue wing. Blue wing is the rare one. Both of them are collectible just because, like I said, Paul Newman and Budweiser. And here's another collectible that I got off the ProTinker site. So just in time to see some of your merchandise on my live stream. Not going to eat on camera. Nope. Oh, and this is for Tim. No olive oil was used in the cleaning of any of my cars. Novus only. Yeah, I know, Robert. I feel blessed, honestly. I mean, I've got the royalty of royalty coming in. If Brian chimed in on the road, we'd have we'd have everybody here except for Timbo. We need to get Timbo in here. Another 280Z purchased from ProTinker Toys, brand new, obviously. He doesn't sell used cars on the normal site unless they're on the members page as part of the auctions. But this is a camel car. Once again, I'll reiterate, anytime you can buy a slot car that has a cigarette or a alcohol manufacturer listed as a sponsor, it's a collector. Period. They do not and will not make those cars anymore. So if you see a cigarette manufacturer or any kind of alcohol manufacturer on any slot car that's old, it will be a collector, simply for that reason. They outlawed them putting that kind of tampo and advertising on these cars for kids because they said they were marketing those products to kids. So thank our government for trying to protect us from ourselves. And that's why you want to collect every single one of those like that. If it has any alcohol, any cigarette, so Marlboro, Camel, Budweiser, you name it. If it's got it on there, it's going to be a collector. And here's another Thunderbird that kind of looks like the last one there, except it's a teaser because it is not the collector version, but it's similar to that collector version. If you remember, the collector version I showed you had the white in there with the white top. Well, this one's just solid aqua Thunderbird. Still a good looking car, but it's not the rare one. So when you're on eBay or looking around other places to try to buy stuff, don't get tricked into thinking that this is the rare one, because it's got to have that like white scallop in there that they put little quarter hitch. Still a good looking car, but just don't let somebody trick you into thinking that. New old stock. And then if you can kind of see past there, we got three of the very same kind of Thunderbirds, and there's a reason for that. And I'll get to that right now. All righty. So I'm going to put all three of them out here so you can see what I'm talking about. All three of these have varying degrees of damage or something missing on them. So this is the case where the best body, which is this one, no scratches, the glass is perfect, the stripes are perfect, everything's perfect on this car, but one thing, no pipes. Perfect without pipes, not perfect with pipes. So this one has pipes, but it's kind of broken, so I had to buy two cars. And what I plan on doing is peeling the good pipes off of these two cars, placing them on this one, and the rear bumper too. It's missing the bumper, but the body's perfect. So I'm going to Frankenstein it with these others. Then I'll have one that's a runner, and then I'll have one for other parts for other Thunderbirds that go with the collection for the American Graffitis class. So that is why you see 3 of the very same Thunderbirds. By the way, if you are able to collect one of these, they are worth some money because it kind of looks like the Shelby stripes, you know, Shelby Thunderbird there. It's got the little scoop on it, but you do want to make sure that it has everything. It has the pipes on both sides, chrome on both, and the glass. So like I said, this is a perfect body, but it's missing the chrome stuff. And then these bodies have some scratches on them, but they have the chrome that I need for that one. So 3 Thunderbirds. Going to make one really, really nice Thunderbird, have one runner, and then have one parts car. And when I get these 3 wrapped up, that will be officially 96 cars that we've gone through tonight. And we'll have 48 more to go. And I'm already way past my time that I said I was going to quit. But like I told you, I'm going to stay on here whether or not there's anybody watching or not, because I have to get these 3 cases packed up. Bottom line. So if you can stay, great. 12 people, 14 thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. Nice, Ryburn. That was funny. Now, Scott doesn't have all his screws. I have a few screws loose. But yeah, no, all my cars have most of their parts. Like I said, unless I tell you guys, every single car that I'm showing you is a runner. I do not put cars in my display cases if they do not run. They may not look the best, may not run the best, but if they run, that's the only way they get in there. If they don't run, then they don't get into the case until they get fixed until they do. So there's the first case we did tonight, mainly stock cars. Then we came back over here to some more like a daily driver cars with Camaros, Mustangs, Corvettes, a lot of set cars. We got to see a couple of Zeros, which are the rarest of the rare of the Tyco breed, with the test shot and that Alan Kwiecki chrome car. And now this is going to be a fun one for me. So I appreciate you guys sticking around with me. I don't care about not eating dinner. I can eat dinner later, because this is my case of what I call runners for the classes that I have. And so basically somebody picks if they want to go stock or modified and what series they want to go with, and then that's what we do. So I'm just going to start on the top and work my way down. I'm going to start with these 3 because these are brand new old stock. These are their anniversary editions of Hot Wheels. We've all seen these before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but these are literally brand new. I opened these up, pulled them out of the bubble wrap or the packaging, and stuck them in the case. And the reason for that is I am going to build these cars to the maximum amount that you can build a Tyco. And the reason for that is at the end of the year, once my track's up and running, the winner of the modified stock cars, the top 3 are going to get to run the most maxed out Tycos for the champion of the year. And so that's the goal, why I've got 3 brand new old stocks of these cars, the 30, the 40, and the 50. And like I said, they're going to get level 10 magnets. I'm going to put 3 ohm armatures in them, gear them up, put in some silver springs in the for the commuter brushes, higher carbon commuter brushes. Oh yeah, no, they're going to get maxed out. All said and done, I'll probably have $60 in parts per car in these bad boys after I figured it up. So that's why they're not done yet, is because I'd rather buy other cars while the track's not running and worry about hopping these up when it is running. And when it is running and I do hop these up, then that'll be a whole video by itself. I'll show everybody how easy these cars are to work on and why I love them so much. Love them, love them, love them. You know, from your childhood. And like I said, you never forget your first. And these were the first cars that them and the Super G Pluses that you could get a hold of and work on and modify and get them to really haul some ass. All right, and I mentioned there were two McDonald's cars, two only, and this is the set version of that NASCAR Showdown that I showed you, that it was sealed, that I bought. This is the car that was inside that I didn't open up because it was sealed. That is a set only car. That's the only way you can buy this drive-through McDonald's. It's the only way you're going to get it. And I know sometimes people give me some grief because I have so many cars and they're like, race them, race them, race them. Well, just to show you that I show no prejudice on a car. If I like it and I want to race it, I don't care what it's worth. Here's the example. Like I said, this is a rare car. I know for a fact that I could easily ask anywhere from $60 to $80 for that car if I put one of my new old stock chassis underneath it. But that wasn't why I got it. I got it to be a racer. And this racer just so happens to be one of my modified NASCARs for the modified stock car class. And I'll just go through what it has. So when I say it's a modified stock car, you'll know what I'm talking about. I put a 3-ohm balanced armature in it. I put level 4 motor magnets in it. And I put level 10 traction magnets in it. And I put a 7/22 gear ratio in the rear. And I put the Wizard dual spring front springs in there. And then I just put a good set of new shoes on it. These things are screamers, guys. Screamers. And this, I have 6 of those cars that I built up like this. And it just so happens this is the first one. But I do have a stock car class that just has wheels only, or tires only, I'm sorry. But I figured since this was the drive-through McDonald's, it was the rarest one, let's put the horsepower to it, so to speak. So can't wait to get those out on the track again. That's right. Just run it. Yeah, see, I'm right there with you. It's only valuable if someone else wants to buy it from you, and only if you're willing to sell it. Well, I'm not willing to sell it, and I want to race it. So it's going to get ran. Well, while we did that one McDonald's, we'll go to the other one. And this is another. It's got the same thing. If you can see, I don't know if it's going to come out on the camera, but I'll try to show it. It's got the same armature. And you can tell whenever you buy them. Yeah, I see that colored there. That lets me know that it's the hopped up one, and then the magnets are kind of a different shade. But anyway, it's got the same hop ups on it, and this is the one that you could buy individually. Didn't come in a set. That's when they were still doing individual cars, but it's still one of those balls out, hauls ass. And even though it's not as worth as much as that drive-through McDonald's, it's still a pretty pricey $40, $50 car. I told you we'd see these Kyle Petty's again. They're a dime a dozen. This has got one of the hopped up chassis underneath it that I worked on. Obviously, if it crashes and burns, no big loss, because we can replace this today without even blinking an eye. But anyway, the big thing on that one is it's got the hopped up chassis, so didn't really care about it getting destroyed if it got crashed. All right, Timbo hitting the sake. All right, I'm out here. I'll join you, Tim. I'll hit the Mountain Dew. All right, I told you guys I like the Elliott Sadler M&M's Pontiac, and I told you I had a runner. Here it is. There's nothing wrong with this body. I mean, this thing is dead nuts perfect. Like I said, once again, I could turn right around and sell it, but as you can see, this is one of my hopped up chassis. I got super tires on it. That's one of the things I forgot to mention. Hopped up armatures, hopped up everything. So I can't wait to see these cars go around track. Another $50, $60 car. Don't care. I got $50 in parts in the car by itself, and then you add another $50 for the car. You're looking at $100 car real quick. And then I've got several of them, as you can see here. This is part of the stock car class, the Bobby Labonte. We saw it earlier, so I'm not going to spend. I'll just tell you about the chassis. So this is a NOS chassis. Nothing special about it. Just has tires on it. So this would be the stock car class, and that's the modified stock car class. Oh, wow. I think somebody mentioned earlier how rare and collectible the Dodge Intrepids were. I told you guys, I am not afraid to race my cars if I bought them to be racers. If I bought them to be a collector, then that's what I intended it for, and that's the way it's going to stay. And no amount of crap that anybody gives me is going to convince me otherwise. This is still a collector car that 9 times out of 10 people would look at me and shake their head. Why in the hell are you ruining such a rare car? I bought it to race. It's my car. I'm going to do with it what I want to. This one is also on one of my hopped up chassis. I figure why not put the rarest cars with the most hopped up high speed chassis that you had out there. And that way, not only were they looking good on the track, they were really hauling the most ass they could haul. So there you go. I've just shown you guys 2 really rare cars that a lot of collectors would really just smack me upside the head for doing what I'm doing to them. All right, Tim. Thank you, Turbo. Appreciate it. Yeah, see, the old Scots light some sparks and melt some plastic. That's what these buggers are going to do. They're going to melt some plastic. And like I said, just being rare, that's just awesome. I mean, because most people would have done what I just showed you tonight, and that is put that in the case, and it would have never hit the track. I'm going to show you that a McDonald's car and this car, yeah, I don't care. They're going to run. We're going to race them. This common cat Jeff Green is one of my hopped up chassis too. So it's not it's on the hop up. It's pretty common, so I don't care if it gets beat the hell out of. Like I mentioned, it's the least collectible Caterpillar car. Burn it down, yeah, melt it. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to mention names, but everybody knows that from. I'm just going to time out real quick. Everybody knows that from the very first time I started this channel, from the second video that I actually did something that wasn't a test video of me just showing pictures of cars, I said, test video. My catchphrase has been light some sparks and melt some plastic. Someone stole that and put it on a shirt just here recently. Now, it may have been out there before I saw it, but I was kind of pissed off, to be quite honest, because I even had a chance to make my own damn shirt and someone already did it before I did. But anyway, here's another rare Jeff Burton car. I'll quit talking about that. But yeah, someone stole my phrase. Couldn't believe it. It's all right. We all know where it came from, or who's been using it lately anyway. Another Jeff Burton Sitco car. Like I said, we saw it earlier in its bone stock fashion. This is one of the hopped up chassis, so it's guaranteed to fly. Yes, Tim. Yeah. You've quoted my little saying before, right before the races. I when you say let's get the races started, I'm like, yeah, it's time to light some sparks and melt some plastic. That's me. That's the Scott of Scott's House of HO Racing. You heard. All right, so we kind of went through the NASCARs. Now we're going to get through the NASCAR trucks, and these are all stock except for tires. And this is once again, haters can hate, but when you buy something, you buy something. You buy it for a certain reason. This is a rare truck. The only way you can get that truck is in the twin packs, like I mentioned earlier. Didn't come individually. So this is one of the rare trucks that you can have next to the Earnhardt that we're going to see next. But what makes this one so rare is the fact that you could find the Kyle Petty 44 that came with it all day, every day, like we've gone over. But this truck only came in that twin pack. That's it, period. And just so happens I have one of those for sale. So if someone wants one, let me know. I did have 2, but I just sold one. That was what helped bought some of those track sets that I've been showing off. And here's the most expensive one. This is the Mike Skinner Silverado number 3. And I have the Super Stockers twin pack. I'm looking right at it right now on my wall. It's got the Earnhardt Monte Carlo, and it's got this Mike Skinner truck. And this is a highly collectible truck. I literally saw this very same truck just sell for $75. Unreal. Well, guess what, guys? It's a runner. It ain't sitting on no shelf. It's running. So we're gonna see this bad boy out on the track. This is part of the stock NASCAR truck series that I have. So we're gonna see that bad boy running. $75 or not, I don't give a damn. It didn't cost me $75, or I wouldn't be racing it. I'll put it that way. But since it didn't cost me $75, I'm gonna race it. Someone wants to give me $75, we can talk. But even then, I'd be hard pressed because I need that truck for my series. This is one that I believe, if memory serves me correct, that ProTinker had on sale for a while. And then they actually had one of them that was carded. Good looking truck, yeah. Burnt plastic or napalm. Robert. This is the Exidy Jeff Bodine #7 truck. Like I said, part of my it's a Ford versus the others are with the Silverados. Like I said, anytime I had a little story, I would tell this. I don't know if a lot of you remember when the truck series was at Daytona, and they used to run the trucks and then the Busch and then the Winston Cup. That was when my buddy that is still down there that works for Dale Jr., that's when he first moved down to North Carolina in Mooresville, in the Mooresville area. Long story short, he got hooked up with this race team and the Jeff Bodine's race team, and it wasn't his race team. He was just their driver for this team. Can't remember it. Sorry, the name of it. Anyway, long story short, he welded the truck together that was raced at Daytona. And if you go back and if you Google, I'm sorry, YouTube, Jeff Bodine truck crash at Daytona and watch that wreck, my buddy built that truck. And he told me that when that truck was basically getting destroyed as it wrecked going down the front straightaway, the only thing that was going through his head is please don't let him die because one of my welds failed. That's insane. So when we're all done here tonight, or you're done listening to me, or you got some free time, YouTube Jeff Bodine with a G. It's Geoff Bodine, Bodine, truck race crash at Daytona, and you'll see this truck just get obliterated. And now you can tell people when you show them that video that you know a guy that knows the guy that built that truck, and I went to high school with him, and he was actually the guy that worked on my stock car. So pretty cool stuff. There's a little history on that truck in case anybody was curious. Yeah, Bodine crash. Yep. There you go, Clint. And then here's just another runner. If you notice, the other one there had blue wheels. I put red ones on this one, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. So I got a couple of the collectible Hot Wheel trucks that are going to be used for racers. Like I said, you have an intention and a purpose. All right, so like I mentioned, those were the stock trucks, mass trucks. And then I have a hopped up class, and that's going to be all of these bad boys, which we're back to the lifelikes again. But I've got 6 Viper chassis with lifelike clips that are going to go underneath these bad boys. And so this is their rendition of the Mike Skinner #3. And right now they still have the lifelike chassis underneath them. And these are all brand new. Every single one of these trucks is brand new. I bought it and opened it and then stuck it in there. And I do have one more, and I'm still trying to there's one more of these trucks, and I'll have them all. I'm looking to try to get the ortho, but it's pretty pricey. So I've got 6 of them. But anyway, so there's the Skinner version of that. That's what the intended use for these next ones is the super trucks, because they're all going to have Viper chassis underneath them. So we'll kind of go through them really quickly here. Chevrolet Silverado, #8, the truck in America. I think these are just going to look badass, hauling serious ass with those Viper chassis around this track. So That's why I got these with the used the ones with the longer bed for that specific reason, because I knew the Viper chassis would hold a lot better, and it'd still make a little bit of a challenge for them. So you just couldn't, mat it, hold it to the floor and hope it doesn't fly. All right, we are cooking with Crisco. 9:30. So I've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we've gone through 2.5 cases. Not bad. We're cruising. These are all, like I said, brand new. Same chassis, won't show anything. This is the Ford F350 version. Good looking truck. Like I said, they don't stick as well as my Super G Pluses, but you can see it takes a little bit of work to get them to go. Like I said, look pretty cool going around the track, all hopped up. Make it a little more challenging with that ass end weight to swing out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, couldn't make it so super easy. Had to have some challenge, even though they'll be on Viper chassis, which are pretty much glued to the track. Here we go, another Silverado, the yellow number 7. It even says Silverado on it. Ought to be easy to see flying around the track. It says it on the back tailgate there too. I'm sorry, Tim, I don't have the. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, me too, man. That believe it or not, guys, I asked my friends whenever I started buying Tyco. I was like, hey, if I buy a bunch of Tyco trucks and we do a truck series, do you think that'd be fun? And they're like, yeah, racing trucks sounds like fun. Go ahead and get them. As long as they didn't have spend their money, they were all for it. So obviously I did that, and then the more I got to thinking about it, I was like, that's kind of cool. Not everybody races trucks, and so then that became the hunt. Try to find enough trucks that you could have at least 5 of them, so that you could have 4 racing on the track, and in case if one of them broke or damaged or whatever, then you could just throw another one on. It wouldn't stop the racing. And so if you kind of notice, I went Ford, Chevy on that. So here we have the red number 5 Ford, just like the number 7 Ford, except it's red. Good looking little trucks. Like I said, I like them. Getting harder and harder to find them. They're getting pricey too. I guess it's just because they don't make them anymore. But Terry Harden owns Lifelike now, so hopefully he'll repunch out some of those bodies again. And then here, the next rows you can see there, I have red, white, blue, yellow, which matches the colors of the Hopra lanes, red, white, blue, yellow. And these are my IROC series Vipers. And so basically these are lane cars. So if you're in the, if you have to start in the yellow lane, then this is your car. And that car stays there. And after every race, everybody rotates. So everybody gets to run every car, but the car stays in its lane. So that's one cool thing about this one. And all I'm doing with these is putting tires on them, stock chassis all the way around. This is your standard Viper with pipes. It's not a set car. If it was, you'd notice. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that Vipers that don't have pipes are the ones that they included in sets. And if they do have pipes, then they weren't included in sets. So like I said, got the yellow version, so it matches the lane. So this is when you hear me refer to IROC class, that's what I'm talking about, is the colors red, white, blue, yellow, and then those cars stay in the lanes and the drivers just switch lanes that they're using. These are all brand new. This is one I got from ProTinker that I opened up. Should look familiar to everybody. I like it just because it reminds you of the old Shelby Cobras. Oh yeah, hey Robert, yeah, the Baja trucks. See, and I tried getting a lot of those little Tyco Nissans, but those things are so top heavy. Yeah, that's why I decided to go with their trucks there, and then go with the Lifelike other ones. So this is a new old stock. Bought it brand new. Got it from ProTinker. Never been ran on the track yet. Just opened up and stuck in the case because I knew that's what it was for. Was the IROC series. IROC series on Vipers. If you say IROC, everyone thinks of IROC Camaro, and they don't realize that that's the name of the racing series. International Race of Champions. And then the next one here is not a new old stock. This is a set car from their Viper Night Glow set. So this one is not truly white. It's their glow in the dark white. And there's two versions of this: red stripes, blue stripes. That's kind of the theme when they go with the glow in the dark stuff. So I'm looking to try to get one of the actual white Vipers, but this will suffice until then. You know, like I said, it's a house car, so these aren't, you know, they're all brand new chassis underneath them, but not necessarily something that I'm looking to have to try to get right now. So it's one of those things, if the price is right, then I'll get it. And if it's not there, then I'll just wait until it is, because I've got 4 of them that I need, and I have a few extra backups for now as far as the Vipers go. And then this is the red Viper, once again with pipes, so we know it's not a set version. Good looking car. You remember those from my giveaway that I did in conjunction with the ProTinkers. In fact, the body that was given to me from you guys is the one that the woman picked as her car. I put the brand new chassis underneath the brand new body you guys gave me, and she picked the Viper with pipes, and that's the one she picked. So there's a rendition. Her name is Steph, and her husband's name is Mike, and they're loyal followers on the channel. Haven't seen them on here tonight, but they are in the process of moving too. Visited Tennessee on vacation and ended up found a job, and they lived in Ohio, and they told me like 45 minutes away from PTT, and now they're like 12 hours, 13 hours away from Tennessee. So they're having to relocate and move, kind of like what I'm moving. I'm not moving no 13 hours away though. Okay, so we're down to the last final 24. I don't know if I'm going to get done by 10 o'clock my time or 11 o'clock your time. If you guys can stay, great. If you can't, like I said, I'm going to finish them and I'll explain. These are the stock Tyco IndyCar runners. So they're already broken up, destroyed. The wings are missing. These are on stock chassis. This is the Michael Andretti Craco car from back in the day. And I do have one of these new old stock that I once again got from ProTinker. That's in perfect condition, obviously. That's in the one of the other cases that we'll see later. So this is obviously a good candidate for a house runner. So people can come over, race it, crash it, destroy it. Scott doesn't get upset because he spent $100 or $80 on it like he did on these, and we can still have fun. So this would be for like my novice friends that come over that think they know how to race slot cars. So we'll wrap him up. And then here's the vaunted, I forgot to tell you what chassis that, or what they called that body style. That's called the Chaparral body style, just like this one is. This is the number 4 Pennzoil. They made a number 5 Pennzoil. So you can see there, the wings broke off. It's a stock chassis, 440X2. Nothing special, just tires. Guest cars. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what these that are damaged are. These are the ones of, oh, hey, I used to do that when I was a kid. Can I try? Sure. Here, take this car. And you take the good one off the track. Quick story. I know this is why this takes so long. It's because I keep talking in between. But I actually had a buddy that came over one night during race night. And he remembered racing cars from back in the day. But he always had something going every night that we raced. So he never joined in with our racing. Anyway, he managed to make it over one night, and I gave him one of my spare Mega G Plus cars because we were running our Indy cars, and it was one of my hopped up cars, so it had level 42 magnets on it. It had super tires that were lower. It had a Viper skinny front end on it. You know, it was tricked out. I had a Hardin Creek ring gear and pinion set in it. It would fly, you know. So if you add up just the parts alone right there's $45 in parts on that car. And he could tell by the end of the night I was starting to get pissed, because all he would do is just try to mat it to try to see if it would stick, because he couldn't believe how well they stuck, and just try to get it to fly off the track. And as we all know, when you're going that fast and you fly off, when it hits something solid, it's going to destroy the body. Well, he eventually did that. And that's when I said, hey, dude, I got some cars I'll sell you if you want to keep smashing them into the wall and breaking them. But I'd appreciate if you would drive it like you're supposed to drive it and try to stay on the track. Then he got pissed off and never came back. But I'm sorry, there's only so long you can tell somebody, hey man, quit flying off the track. You're killing my car. You're killing my car. You're killing my car. And you know how much money you got into it. So that's why I was like, okay, no more getting pissed off at friends for destroying cars. Give them cars that they can destroy and that you don't care about. That's where these cars come in. So that's where this whole series of raceable Indy cars that are already broken came from, was the fact that if people wanted to come over and they destroyed it and tore it up, Scott didn't care. It wasn't going to piss him off that he had $80 in a car and his buddy kept trying to see how fast he could go and not fly off the track, which is obviously the goal of slot car racing. But, you know, just because you think you can take a corner wide open and you've flown off of it 5 times doesn't mean the 6th time you're going to stick. That's what I'm getting at. It was the same thing over and over. He wouldn't learn. So here's another beater number 4 that's already all tore up. You know, like I said, don't care. That's what these are for. I'll throw the cheapest tires I have on them, which are gel claws, and tell them go to town, have fun. I know it's crazy to say that this is a beater, but this is a Texaco, as you can see here, and this is one that's already been ran on the track. That's is going to have some surgery on it before it'll be on there again. Because obviously the last time it hit something solid, the body decided to bust apart. We've already lost a driver's head. We already lost wings, but plus, I mean, if this was a good shaped car, you'd be paying over $100 for it. But since it's a piece of shit, I'll glue this back on there and it'll be ready for another day. But so it's kind of weird to say you've got a piece of crap car that's really expensive as one of your house cars for runners, but that's what it is. And then we got one more of those house cars for runners that are pieces of crap that I don't care about. And it's not actually a real piece of crap. It's just missing its rear wing, which is the Renault here. But some of the tampo's kind of worn thin on it in spots. And, you know, I needed another runner that wasn't solid yellow like the Pennzoils. So that's why I decided this bad boy got thrown to the sacrificial lambs of whoever's going to crash him next. But that's probably the best looking out of the 4 that I've already shown that is a house car runner stock. So there's the 5 of those. And obviously, if I'm going to have a hopped up stock car class, I got to have a hopped up F1 IndyCar class. So I do have those too, and we're getting to those right now. Okay, so these chassis I didn't build, but these are some, as you can see, they've been dyed. These are some that I bought off of eBay, and these have already been maxed out. So these are my hopped up F1 cars. As you can see there, big difference. I mean, I'm trying to shake that thing off there, guys, and you can see it's not even budging. That's what level 10 traction magnets will do for you. So they said these things were the fastest thing on the fastest Tyco car chassis on eBay, period. So I was going to put that to the test. So I bought 6 of them and put them underneath my F1 chassis. So that's what's different about these compared to the cars, is I bought these chassis, and you can tell they're bought because they actually dyed them, and I don't dye my chassis. You know, that's way too much trouble for, but you can kind of see there, I don't know, maybe here, I'll hold it up there, and I'm going to hold it still until I can see on the TV. Yeah, you can tell it's, you can tell they dyed it. It's like a purplish, I don't know, plum color. But that's a rare car that a lot of people wouldn't want to see me smash up. But this is a perfect Valvoline Al Unser #1, in case anybody was wondering. It's the one that was in my 2-pack that came with the timing watch and the car. And I've got on the wall I'm looking at right there. So there's one hopped up F1 car that'll probably get broken and break some hearts. Here's another one of those chassis, like I said, bought off eBay, already hopped up, dyed the chassis. This is the Nigel Mansell #5 Texaco Haviland. I kind of mentioned looked like the AFX #5 G Plus. Well, that's because they owned Tyco, and Tyco owned the rights and AFX wanted to make one like it. So that's why they're both the number 5. That's why they're both black and white, and that's why they both look similar. Is because AFX Aurora did the knockoff of what this one is. So this is a new old stock body. I bought 10 of these off of eBay. So here, for some reason my phone went off mute and I could hear myself talking, so I had to reach over there and turn it off. Oh, wow. Oh, there's that stupid clicking again. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I bought some of those new old stock bodies. That's why I'm not afraid to destroy in that one. This is another new old stock body that most people would say you better think twice about doing that because you can get some good money for it. It's the number 27 Ferrari. Once again, it's on one of those hopped up chassis. This is my hopped up Indy 1 F1 class, Indy F style, F1 style cars. And I've got one of these new old stock with a non-hopped up chassis. But like I said, these are runners. Every single car in these cases are runners, guys, whether they're new or not. And that's new. New chassis, new body, new. And then we got one more of what they call the F1 style, and I had more of these new old stock bodies, so I converted one of them into one of my runners too. This is the Benetton Ford that I showed last night with the Tomies. I kept saying Tommy last night, and that was pissing me off when I watched that. It's pronounced Tommy. So the Tomies, now you're seeing the Tyco version of it. This kind of a rare car. Once again, new old stock body, brand new, one of those hopped up chassis that I bought off eBay from that vendor. So like I said, I got 3 really rare cars that really, if my brain cell was functioning correctly, would I'd put a new chassis underneath them and just sell them as new old stock and make some money. Instead, I spent money on them, and they're probably going to get broke. So it is what it is. So I have those as hopped up, and then I love the new shark nose style that they came out with. And these are hopped up even more. These are blue chassis that have the little skinny bicycle front wheels on them. So that's how I tell the difference. These have a different motor magnet and a different traction magnet. I believe those are a motor magnet of a 3 and a traction magnet 8. And these are a 4 and a 10. So much stronger. Once again, no hint of even trying to come off. You notice that thing didn't even budge. But this is the number 3 Ferrari Tic Tac shell FedEx. Good looking car. New old stock, I know. Pulled it out of the package myself and kept the chassis and stuck one of those hopped up chassis underneath it. So the car's never been ran, chassis or body. Brand new. That Ferrari, by the way, also came in one of their World Tour race sets, which we'll get to whenever we get to the Tyco F1 stuff. I've got 3 of those World Tour sets. Once again, hopped up chassis. This time it's blue, kind of matches the car. This is the Renault. And if you remember the other night, I got a new one of these, brand new in the package. I told you I got a good deal on, so I'm going to be selling it soon. So Sunday is when I put all my new cars on eBay. I got about 40 cars I'm selling that are going on eBay, some packaged, some non-packaged, some new old stock loose, and some used. So this one's got the hopped up chassis, new old stock body. Good looking car. Once again, runner. Yeah, Joe. And if you notice, I got a lot of bank curves. Okay, so you can see this corner of the wall. Okay, so on the very corner, a lot of these houses have what they call the wall-board protection corner. You know, that little edge that's made out of metal. I've actually had them had these cars fly off the track, fly off the corner. And let me see if I don't run over a dog with the chair. But see that? Showing, see, it's sticking on the wall. I've actually had them fly off the track and stick to my wall. So yes, when they come off those corners, they go places. Hey, Tim, thank you. I'll see you on the live feed tomorrow. I'm getting to work from home, so I'll get to be able to watch you guys. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, it was funny. We lost the car. We couldn't figure out where it went. We were all looking all over the hallway and running all over the floor, and then someone looked up and goes, well, hell, it's stuck to the wall. And there it was. Another hopped up chassis. This one's been dyed too. This is the McLaren Mercedes number 9. Brand new body, pulled it out, put the new chassis that I bought with the new hopped up front end, that hopped up everything, and then kept the new old stock chassis for use for later on something else. These are, in case I didn't mention it, these are called the shark nose version of the F1 cars, or Indy style cars. There's 4 different versions. The Wildcat, oh my gosh, Wildcat, the F1 is what they called it, the shark nose, and the chaparral. There we go. So this is what they call the shark nose. And I have one more of those with the hopped up chassis, and it's a set car from the Target racing set, the number 11 black. It's got the same hopped up chassis underneath it with the little skinny front wheels. And I have the red version of the Target car that's also hopped up, but it's just not in this case. It's in the one of my other cases over here, in my runner's case. So we've got 6 of those hopped up that I bought. I got 6 of them that I hopped up myself. And then I have 5 of the drive it like you stole it, I don't care if you wreck it and crash it, house cars. I'm like, well, these are all house cars, but I don't let someone that's a novice get behind the wheel of my $100 cars. They get these $25 specials up here. And now we're to the rest of this whole section here, and then believe it or not, guys, we'll have done what is it, 48, 48, 96, 146 cars will have gone over tonight when I go through this next 3 rows. But these next 3 rows, or basically 3 rows, are my American Graffiti class. So these are all stock chassis cars with just hopped up tires. That's it. Nothing else special about the chassis. 440X2 chassis. But this is, like I said, this is a rare one to find. I got it fairly cheap because, as you can see, it doesn't have any glass in it. But I don't care because I knew what I wanted it for, and I wanted it for this American Graffiti class. So got me a Chrome 57. That looked pretty cool going around the track. As you can see, I got me a lot of 57s. I got, we already saw one of those other Night Glow 40 Ford Coupes, and it goes with this class. Here's one of the red Thunderbirds. Goes with this class. That's actually a new old stock body I got. Stuck the new old stock chassis underneath it. But it's going to be a runner. All solid red Thunderbird. And like I said, I got more of this American Graffiti's class. I got more runners than I have room in this one case, so they all started getting spread out. But here's the Silver Vet 63, I think it is. That's a good looking car. I like that car. Looks pretty badass, if you ask me. It reminds me of that Johnny Lightning that I showed, the black and the red, you know what I'm saying? So this is silver with the white scallop in there. Good looking car. Can't wait to see the Fords versus the Thunderbirds versus the 57 Chevys versus the 40 Coupes. And here's another one that most people would probably cringe at if they saw and heard what I was doing with this car. This is a harder one to find. It's that from the Hot Rod series, because it has the chrome motor on it. It says, what is it? Blood in the Rad or something like that on the back. I don't know, my reflection's hitting it. Oh, the good in the rad, I'm sorry, is what that says on the back. They all have some little saying they have on the back of them. But this one's not perfect. You see the pipe there. It was missing a pipe over here. So I don't care if it's a runner. It'd still be in good shape to sell to somebody, but 440 X2 chassis. I wanted it for my American Graffitis class, so that's what it's going to get used for. That one in there. And then there was a vendor on eBay, and I haven't seen him in a while, so I hope he's well, but he hadn't been making these in a while. He did these 57 Chevys. He had a bunch of the bodies, and so he did custom paint. And I don't know if it's showing up, but that's it's got a blue metallic in it. That's a good looking car. And he took his time and did the paint right. I mean, he pulled the chrome, pipes, bumpers, and pulled out the glass, painted them, clear coated them, and then put them back together. So those are good looking cars. Like I said, I got them as runners. Those aren't really collectors because, well, it's been modified, but it's a good looking runner. And I got like 5 of these coming up because I wanted to get, like I said, at first I was just going to have an IROC series of them, and then I decided I'd go the American Graffiti shootout way. Now this one is a stock bodied yellow that you can find. He didn't paint this one. This is just the way it came. You can find this one out there every so often. Still a good looking car. So, we got the blue and the yellow, and you'll see I got a red. So I was trying to get those Hopra colors, the red, white, blue, and yellow. Here's the burgundy red that he had. Good looking cars. Like I said, he not only painted them, but he clear coated them so they're just silky smooth. No flames. Joke. Hey, James, thank you for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it, buddy. Have yourself a good evening and enjoy your Friday. And if you can, try to make it in tomorrow night. I'm going to do another 3 cases. Have yourself a good night. You almost made it to the end. We're down to the final 4. All right, I'm going to try to rip through these. So basically, same guy. He did this one 2-tone, blue, white top. Same great paint job, same still clear coat. Like I said, did great work. Very reasonably priced. Like $30 a car at the time. That was before all this COVID stuff hit. And here's a solid black one that you can buy that he didn't paint. That looks bad to the bone. Nice and evil. And here's the last custom painted 57. And it is another shade of blue that's got flake in it with a white top, 2-tone that he did. So good looking cars. Oh no, thank you, James, for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you're still there. If not, and you watch this later, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you stopping by. Don't thank me, thank you. I'm the one that's thanking you guys for keeping me company while I'm doing this. I can't believe there's 11 people here at 10 o'clock at night watching a hillbilly from Springfield, Missouri wrap up his cars and tell stories about them. But yeah, here we are, and I'm glad you are here because I'd feel really weird talking to me and my dogs about cars. So last but not least, we have another 40s Ford Coupe. This is the flamed version. This is the version with red wheels. This is a new old stock chassis. Like I mentioned, I don't care if it's the last car or not. If there's something unique about these cars or different, I'll let you know, and which one is collectible and which one's not. So on the very last one, it just so happens there are 2 versions of this 40 Ford. And if you'll notice there, the pipes are silver, the windows are silver, everywhere it's silver. Okay, grill's silver. Everywhere where you see silver, it's silver. It's not chrome. That's silver. The alternate version of this car is chrome. And there's another 57 Chevy that's done like that too. And they were set cars. So the set cars had chrome, believe it or not, and the non-set cars were silver. So if you're going to be a collector and you want to collect both sets of these cars and you're wondering, well, they look identical, look a little closer, because if you're looking at two versions of it, you'll see one has chrome and one doesn't. I have both versions, so I can show you when we get to them, but this is a runner, so that's why I figured I'd tell you now. Brand new old stock. I was able to buy it, like I said, before prices went crazy. Now they're 35, 40 bucks a pop. Stupid. But anyway, it is what it is. But so that's how you would tell the difference between those two. And with this car right here, guys, this officially makes 146 cars that I ripped through in 2 hours and 45 minutes. Not bad. Thank you, Cliff. Yeah, no, like I said, that's why I'm doing this too, is because I don't know everything, but I want to share what I do know. And then if someone else does know something, I want them to chime in and let me know. I have learned a lot from people on the live chat telling me stuff. So this has been very beneficial to me, not only therapeutic, because it's nice to talk nothing but slot cars and then describe cars that you have and, you know, lose yourself in the slot car world. But you know, it's just great to relive all the stuff that you have and you know, tell the stories about them and then learn stuff about them too. Because like I said, I've said this since day one. I'm not a guru. I'm no specialist. I just know what I know from reading, watching, talking, and learning from other people. And then I try to be a sponge and soak it all in. So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. So we got through a good chunk of my Tyco collection, but believe it or not, guys, I got, and this is just Tycos, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 more of these cases that are just Tyco. So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, since there's no live feed from ProTinker, no race night or nothing like that. If you guys are bored, don't have nothing going on Friday night, nothing on TV, no high school football. Yeah, Cliff. Yeah, have a good night, buddy. I'm just wrapping it up here. Come back tomorrow night. We'll go through another 3 cases, and then this weekend we are finishing everything in this room. So between Dan's live feed and my live feeds, if you're into slot cars, you have no other place to be but YouTube this weekend. So thank you to all 11 people that are still here. I appreciate your time and stopping by. Thank you to everybody that's commented. I love the interaction. That's why I love doing this. Thank you to Ryan and Tim and Mandy with ProTinker stopping in tonight. That was a very unusual surprise. I'm glad that they popped in. Glad Tim got to enjoy some sake and watch somebody else display cars. So once again, thank you, everybody. Be sure and check out Dan's channel. If you're still here and you haven't seen it yet, go look at that new Snake versus Mongoose drag racing video he put out. Like it, subscribe to his channel, and then go to his live feed for Saturday and hit that notification bell so when he goes live, you know about it, and we can all thank him for one successful year on YouTube producing some really awesome video content. So we got a lot more stuff coming out, myself, him, and everybody. So everybody, thank you for your support. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your Friday until I see you. And then we will all kick off Friday night and the weekend together with more of packing Scott's cars. Light some sparks and melt some plastic, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.